All right. We are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet. It's a crazy times we're living in, but I'm loving it. I'm definitely loving it. We got a whole lot of wild things going on. This whole thing with GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond, a lot of other stocks that Reddit, WallStreetBets is involved with. Wall Street does not like it too much. They're upset. They're trying to get them censored. They actually did get them censored. The Reddit community got removed, so did the Discord, and they got removed at the same time. Like, as soon as the Discord went down and the news came out about that, I'm saying, okay, the Discord got removed, so did their subreddit. First, it was privated. You had to get an invitation. Then it was totally removed. Okay, so this is going to be very, very interesting. We'll talk about that in the show. I'm not a stock guy, really. I'm not a financial expert, but I've read a lot about this. I've watched a few videos, and I kind of understand what's going on. I know you guys are smarter than I am, so you guys will know what's going on. We'll talk about that in the show. Also, we got to talk about this man, quote-unquote, Dr. Fauci, saying wear 2 masks. Then they came out on CNBC talking about wear 3 masks. So what's the next thing? Wear a plastic bag, a trash bag. Like, what are we really doing? We'll talk about the military trans, quote-unquote, ban, Rand Paul destroying the impeachment of Donald Trump, and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet, and I appreciate you for being here. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, please go ahead and give me a 5-star rating over there. Give me a share, whatever you can over there. I'd appreciate it. And this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, what's that? Apple, whatever that is. You can find me over there, Apple iTunes. Find me over there by searching ABL Live. I should pop right on up. There's also a link in the description box below. Subscribe to that. You can check me out. This show will be available on Friday morning, and a Saturday one will be available Monday morning. So that's pretty much how I'm going to go about it. All right. So we got a whole lot happening. Oh, man, there's so much going on. It's crazy. It is crazy. We're going to get into it. I think I'm going to talk about this Reddit situation first. You know, I would have done a video today, but I did not know a lot about it. I knew a little bit, but not enough to make a video confidently and be like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. All right. Now, before I talk about this whole Reddit kerfuffle, understand I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial expert. I don't know anything. This is purely for entertainment, purely my opinion. Do not take what I'm saying as financial advice. If you do, you're going to lose all your money. That's just the reality of it. So I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to ABL for your financial advice, you're going to be on the street begging for change. Can I get $1, please? That's pretty much where you're going to be at. But anyway, so this whole thing with Reddit is crazy. What you have is a forum, or you had a forum called WallStreetBets. Now, you had some guys on the forum just talking about what they're doing, talking about what kind of stocks and positions they have and whatnot. And some guys realized that at least one hedge fund or more was heavily short on GameStop. Now, I'll explain what that means to the best of my ability. Again, I'm not an expert. You guys in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, which I know I will be, as I'm going to get this story 100% correct. Now, when a hedge fund is short on a stock or has a short position, what they do is this. They borrow the stock at a certain price. They borrow it. They're not buying it. They're borrowing it. And they sell it immediately for the price that it is at that moment. And the whole game is to try and buy it back and give the share back to the lender while keeping a profit. So here's a prime example. If the short seller buys GameStop with like $20 from the lender, and then they're able to sell it right away for $20, but then they buy it back to give back to the lender at $5, they make $15. You see what I'm saying? So they lend it, they sell it immediately, then they still got to give the share back to the original lender. So they buy it back when the price goes down. The whole game is betting that the price will go down. So a company like GameStop, they know it's failing. They know it's going to eventually go down. It's going to be worth not much. So their whole thing is to go in there, get it at a certain price, sell it right away for the higher price, buy it back at the lower price, and then give it back to the lender, and then make their profit that way. So imagine if you got, millions of these shares or thousands or whatever the case may be. They had like 55 million they had 55 million short on GameStop. So imagine what happens when the price goes up because a bunch of guys buying it. What WallStreetBets did was found out that this company or different hedge funds had a lot of short stocks in GameStop and other companies, but GameStop is the main one. They found this out. Public information. The media is trying to say, oh, it's hackers. It was no hackers. It's information you can find publicly. You can just go on the internet, type, and then see, oh, they got a lot of GameStop. They're holding it short. Okay. Well, how about we buy that? And by buying it, they drove the price up real high. They put it on WallStreetBets and said, hey, let's go ahead and just get this because they got a lot of short. So they bought it. A lot of guys bought it and then boosted the price up real high. So when the price goes up real high, it forces the hedge funds to abandon their short position. So normally they would wait a little while for it to go low and then buy it back and give it back to the lender. But now they got to buy it at a very high price because if they don't buy it at a very high price, it ain't doing nothing but going up and up and up and up. That's called a short squeeze. So rather than just totally losing their shirt, the shirt is off. I mean, the shirt is off. They got no white beater. The shirt is off. The chest hairs is out. So the shirt is gone anyway. But rather than losing more than their shirt, rather than losing the pants, socks, drawers, and watch and wedding ring, rather than losing everything, they have to buy the stock back at the high price before it goes even higher. Okay? If you bought the stock at $20, you wanted to buy it. If you get the stock lent to you at $20, you wanted to buy it back at $5, but the price had gone up to $100. You got to buy back at $100 before it goes to $200, because now, multiply that by thousands or millions. It's going to be too much. They're talking about they need a bailout. They said they need like $2.75 billion. They have 55 million short on GameStop, but they need $2.7 billion to even stay afloat. That's Melvin Capital, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, you guys let me know in the comments. So basically, a bunch of guys on Reddit saw this situation that was happening. They were 120% short on GameStop, which is kind of immoral because they knew that GameStop was failing and they were trying to capitalize on their collapse. And rather than just letting them buy them stocks back at a very low price as GameStop was dying, they boosted the price up, which made the hedge fund buy the stock's back at a very high price. So if you bought in to GameStop at the low price, you made out like a fat cat because the hedge fund now has to buy it back. You see the whole game? So yeah, a lot of the hedge funds are just they're losing their shirt, losing everything, they're going bankrupt or needing bailouts. And as a result, big tech steps in. They banned the WallStreetBets Discord server and the Reddit page almost simultaneously today, just a few hours ago. They banned that. Matter of fact, it might have been like an hour or two ago they did that. I was seeing that before I got on the stream. So it's like, okay, why would they ban those channels all of a sudden? It's not because of anything political, as far as I know. On WallStreetBets, there's a rule that says no politics. So it's not a political thing. They want to try to talk about Trump and stuff like that. But see, the whole thing around banning Trump and Trump supporters and QAnon and all of that, things that people on the left supported, now they're using that same type of thought process, that same type of power to ban everybody, to ban anything. And now they're trying to attack WallStreetBets, Discord, and the Reddit. And they have done that. But the problem is people know about the whole game now. Catch out the bat. You can't even stop it now. They're trying to say that it's illegal, but what's illegal about that? How is it illegal for somebody to go on the internet and then see information that's public about a hedge fund, a stock, or whatever? They can see public information, they can see what's going on, and then tell people, hey, I'm gonna get that. Or hey, look at this. It was kind of weird. I wonder what would happen if we, all got a stock, or if we, how was that really illegal? They're trying to say that it's organized and it's like a criminal cartel type thing. They call them hackers. But I think what's going on right here with the whole GameStop situation is that a lot of the lawmakers are behind on the times. They're trying to apply laws to Redditors that don't even apply. You might be able to apply what happened to like more established things that are not just message boards, maybe, but not to them. So you're gonna have to update that law. This is the same thing as Omi and the Hellcat. They came out with a new law in the virus relief bill. One of the things was you guys may have seen it. It might have been kind of a head scratcher, but I knew what was going on because I was already familiar with the game. They passed a law that says you cannot have. Well, they passed a law that regulated streaming. If you were streaming pirated materials, it might be a federal offense or something like that. Basically, it made a crime out of streaming pirated materials if you have a certain amount. That's Omi and the Hellcat. See, Omi and the Hellcat, if you guys don't know, he got raided by the FBI for doing streaming. He had Fire Sticks that were preloaded and he would sell them. I think he had an app on the Fire Stick, which was a Twitch channel that would stream movies. But see, streaming is not illegal. See, back in my day, I used to sell movies and stuff like that, and I knew that if you had less than 10 copies on you, you wouldn't go to jail for no federal offense or nothing like that, because 10 copies was a federal offense, as far as I know. So if you had like 5 movies on you, it was nothing. You know, like they can't run in your house for having Barbershop 2 on DVD bootleg. But if you got 10 of them in your backpack and you got money in your pocket, oh, now you a distributor. It's like if you got drugs on you, personal possession versus, oh, you have an intent to distribute. That's the same kind of thing. But there was no law against the streaming. So when the FBI raided Omi and the Hellcat for the Fire Sticks and whatnot, they couldn't get him on the streaming. They got him on tax evasion. But they couldn't get him on the streaming. So then they came out with a law that says, oh, okay, well, if you're streaming pirated movies and you got an enterprise of it, now that can be a federal offense. It's the same thing going on here. They're not going to be able to get these guys on Reddit for anything that they've done wrong because there's no law that applies to that. They're trying to demonize them in the media, using the media as a weapon, using big tech as a weapon to demonize them as hackers and whatnot. But the reality is they found an exploit in the game and they used it. That's what's going on. But hey, if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. Yeah. I was a black market bootlegger. It's not that bad. I sold DVDs for $5. Give me a break when I was like 19. I mean, I know guys that got murdered on the street for selling dope. Like, I'm selling movies. I was going to college and working and then selling movies and mixtapes and stuff like that. That's nothing. And it was, like I said, you can do that and, not even go to jail. As long as you abide by the law, you can have a bootleg movie in your house. It's not illegal necessarily. You're not going to go to jail for that. But if you sell them and you're selling them a lot and you got a lot on you, that's when you go to jail. And then they had the whole thing about the streaming. If you have an enterprise with the streaming, make a lot of money on it, you put ads on it, then now they can get you. But before, there was no law against that. All you got to do, really, like I always say on here, if you follow the law, I don't really care. I'm not the moral police because it's a lot of things that I think are immoral that people do. But what am I going to do aside from just admonish you and wipe the finger? As long as you lawful, that's all I really care about. Like the whole thing with immigration. People say, oh, you're against immigrants. No, I'm not against immigrants. If you're over here legally, you have legal standing, then that's fine. I have no problem with you at all. Do your thing. You following the law. That's great. That's what we want you to do. My problem is with illegal aliens. Okay, that's not a legal immigrant. That's not somebody that came over here through the proper channels. Okay, I don't care if you got a green card, H-1B, H-2B, H-8B, whatever visa. If you're over here legally, then that's fine. If you're over here illegally, then that's a problem. It's simple. Follow the law. That's been my whole thing from the beginning. But if you're doing things that are kind of like, it may seem kind of sketchy, but it's lawful, I'm not the moral police. Let the police come up with, let the lawmakers do their thing to dictate how that goes. And if you feel like a thing should be unlawful, you vote on it and make it happen. That's how the whole thing works. You vote on people that get in the office, make the law. You lobby them to make a law. If they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. And then you follow the law that way. That's how society should work. All right. Yeah, I'm guilty, Santo Bartez. I was playing Metallica on LimeWire. I'm sorry if I downloaded an MP3 on LimeWire. I'm sorry if I did that. My fault. So yeah, that's what's going on. So the whole thing with Reddit versus Wall Street, it's a crazy thing that's going on, but not really surprising. You know, it's just what's happening. Guys are getting creative. If they can't work, they can't go out there and make a living because of government shutdowns and whatnot. It's like, all right, well, I got time on my hands. I got a little bit of money from the stimmy, so I'm going to put that in my Robinhood account. Oh, that Robinhood. Oh, Robinhood's been off the hook. I have Robinhood. I wasn't involved with the whole Reddit thing. I didn't know about it. I mean, I would have got in on it too. I mean, if it's lawful, I don't care. It ain't nothing. I mean, like the hedge fund don't care nothing about no morality because they were 120% short on GameStop. And 120% short means they had more shares that were even available to lend. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, let me know. But their whole purpose by having the position on GameStop the way they had it is because GameStop was pretty much dead. GameStop has no more life in them because of a few things. First of all, if you don't know about GameStop, you can go there and buy games. It's kind of an old school model, really. It's like a Blockbuster without the rentals. You go there and buy games and accessories, clothing. It's like a Hot Topic meets video games, basically, at this point. And they brought the merchandise in to try and show up the loss from the games because the games are not selling anymore in the store. Everybody's buying things digitally, and you got free-to-play games. What's the point of having a GameStop? All these little kids are on Fortnite, which is a free game, and you buy the points or whatever they're using in Fortnite electronically. What's the point of going to the store and buying an electronic thing? It makes no sense. You know, everything is digital now. It's like going to the store to buy money to put money on your phone, on your iPhone or your Android or whatever. You're not going to go to the grocery store to buy stuff to put on your phone. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what's going on with GameStop. You got free games, digital downloads, Steam, Epic Game Store, Twitch, all of that. With the free games, they can't compete. So they're falling away. And that's just the reality. Selling games, you can do that on Amazon. So it's no purpose. And then with the pandemic, they were not able to operate. They were closed. You know, brick and mortar, they were closed. So nobody was going there anyway, and they were closed during the pandemic. They're dead. The hedge funds had a big bet on them dying, and then the hedge funds, it's a risk because you're borrowing the stock and you got to buy it back. And the whole game is you think it'd be lower, you think it'd be a cheaper price, but then when it goes up 1,000,000%, now you got to pay it because if you don't buy it back and in the ascent, it can just go infinitely higher. You're just losing more and more money. All right. Yeah, exactly. Short not immoral is just a thing. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really. It's just it's part of the game, and you might lose. It's like gambling, really. And anybody that gambles knows you win some, you lose some. That's just the facts of life. And people are losing really badly. They're trying to say that it's something illegal, but how is it illegal to lose when you make a bet? That's not how that works. But we'll move on. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Let's talk about your man Fauci talking about wear 2 masks at once. And then CNBC said wear 3 masks at once. Now, this is so crazy. Trust the science, believe the science. Fauci first said, hey, don't wear a mask. He said that in March 2020, all right when the virus first popped. Don't wear a mask. It might block a droplet or two, but it's not really going to help you or protect you the way you think it's going to protect you. Give it to the professionals that are in healthcare, the doctors and nurses and whatnot, but a regular normie who's not sick does not need a mask. That's what we were told in March. Then all of a sudden it became, oh, well, now you got to wear a mask. And if you don't want to kill grandma, wear a mask. And if you care about anybody, if you care about, those around you, all this and that, if you don't wear a mask, you're selfish. This is what it became in a very short period of time. But Fauci first said, don't wear a mask. Then he came out and said, well, I said not to wear a mask because I did not want to run on the masks. So I lied to you to protect doctors and nurses. This is what he said. So he is an admitted liar. He lied and admitted about lying. even if he didn't admit he's a flip-flopper. So if it's about to believe the science, then the science is changing, right? First you said don't wear a mask. Then you said wear a mask. Now you're saying, hey, it's common sense to wear 2 masks. And my thing is, okay, when are you going to say that? Because this whole thing with the 2 masks has been going on for a while. I was seeing guys on Capitol Hill wearing 2 masks for a minute. I'm like, why are they wearing 2 masks? I didn't get it. I thought it might have been a requirement or something in DC. I had no idea that was a thing that they had been told behind the scenes. We weren't told behind the scenes. We weren't told that whole thing about wearing 2 masks, but they were. So what else do they know, and what else are they privy to that we're not privy to, that we don't know? How is it that Dianne Feinstein and who else, Nancy Pelosi, and even Joe Biden himself have never had the virus? They're elderly, they're out there, they barely wear masks themselves. You got Joe Biden talking about, oh, well, you got to wear a mask on federal land. And then the very same day he signed that on Inauguration Day, he went out to the federal lands at Lincoln Memorial with no mask on. So it's like, okay, how do you not have the virus if the mask is to protect you from it? How do you not have the virus when you're 80-something years old and you are in a very high-risk group? What are you guys on? Are you on the HCQ that you said was dangerous? If you say it was dangerous because you wanted it for yourself and you didn't want the supply to get ran on, I wouldn't put it past you because you lied about the mask, allegedly, to prevent the supply from getting ran on. So why would that same thing not apply to HCQ? Why wouldn't you do that? It makes sense to me. If you want it for yourself and you make sure that the supply is still there, you'll lie about it. All right? So that's what that is. But anyway, you're saying wearing 2 masks. Now, CNBC says you can wear 3 masks and it'd be 90% effective. I'm like, all right. So, yeah, common sense, exactly. Ain't no common sense. So my thing is, all right, 90% effective, what does that mean? 90% effective at not letting air bubbles get out, the cooties and whatnot get out. If it's 90% blocked off, your nose and your mouth 90% blocked off, then how am I going to be able to breathe? That's the most important thing, right? I got to be able to breathe oxygen. So how am I going to be able to do that with a 90% cut off mask? It just doesn't make any sense. The next thing, like I said in the video, hey, put on a plastic bag, seal it with Gorilla Tape, and have that be that. Therefore, no air can never get out. You won't endanger anybody. And since all your eyes, all of that, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, every orifice is closed up, then you have 0 chance of getting the virus, allegedly, because even the mask might be even the bag might be kind of porous. But anyway, you have next to no chance of getting the virus. But how about breathing? Oh, don't worry about breathing, man. Don't worry about that, man. Don't be selfish. Don't kill grandma, man. You breathing is not as important as making sure grandma's living. That's what's going on with people like Fauci and others that take the whole mask thing to the extreme. And I was hearing from people that they saw people wearing 2 masks as soon as Fauci said it. I'm talking about the day where the information came out. As soon as he got on TV and said that, they went outside to the Piggly Wiggly, to the Citgo, to whatever they were at, and they saw double masks being worn immediately. Fauci could say anything, people will go out there and do it. And as a matter of fact, oh yeah, Keith, you know where I'm going with it. Thank you, Keith. You already know where I'm going. They got a brand new test for the virus over there in China, right? Now, I don't know if I want this test. I don't think I really want this. I think the nasal swab is enough. That might be kind of over the top, actually. So I think I'm pretty much good on this one here. I'm gonna pull it up because you guys must see it. Okay, and you already know if you've been on my Facebook page, you already know what time it is. So it's going to put this screen up. Okay, so you see it. China starts using anal swabs to test high-risk people for COVID. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want that test, okay? I think the nose test is invasive enough. I know I've had that test before. They go all the way back to like your brain. They're trying to access memories. They're trying to see your thoughts. They're trying to read your mind. They're trying to, put some kind of chip into your brain through your nose. So that's invasive enough. But this here, anal, come on. Now, my question is this. Let's just talk about it for a minute. If it's a lung illness, respiratory illness, if it's up here and you're breathing and that's where it's at, that's where it's focused at, why are you way down there in the nether regions? Why are you in that particular part of your body? What does that got to do with a lung type thing? I don't understand. I don't get it. So is it bacterial, respiratory? What's really going on here? I'm trying to figure out what's happening. All right, that's all I really want to know. And China, they acting like ain't nothing going on. In Wuhan, they partying and drinking, drugging, doing whatever they want to do. So I mean, I'm just kind of confused about what's happening. I think all of this is just kind of a game. They're playing games. It's like they're laughing. It's like, okay, see what we can get them to do. We're gonna stick it up their butt and then see how they like that. It's a game. It's a total game, and I'm not. I think I'm pretty much done playing. I'm putting the controller down, and I'm just not really involved with it. All right. All you gotta do is tell me that there's a virus out there. It could affect you in a negative way. Okay. Take steps to make sure that you're safe. All right, cool. I'll do that on my own. But I'm not gonna be putting that in my hind parts to test for the virus. If you can't get it from my nose, then I can't do nothing for you. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not gonna be able to, this ain't prostate time. I'm not that old yet, so we're not gonna go down that direction. You feel me? But they're laughing. They're laughing hard. People like Anthony Fauci talking about wearing 2 masks, don't even wear one when he's at the Nationals game, laughing. Like somebody even said it. They were like, if Fauci said, put your thumb on your butt, people would do it. And people already, I guarantee you, if they brought that here to the States, people would do it. Because they're so scared and they think that whatever the media tells them, if the media were to come out and say, this is the best way to test, and you might even be able to get cured if you were tested in time through this method, even if it's not true, people would believe it and then go out there and do it. The same way they wore 2 masks immediately as soon as Fauci said it, which that won't help you at all. All it's going to do is prevent you from being able to breathe. You're going to have a hard time breathing. You're going to be going up some stairs in your apartment and pass clean smooth on out from wearing 2 masks. And you wearing 3 masks, good night. You're going to be passed out. It's going to be night. You're going to faint. Like, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, you're going to be out. That's what's going on with the whole situation. All right. So, yeah, don't do that. If somebody says, and you know what? And the thing about it is that test is not here in the States yet. It's over in China. So if somebody comes to you in the parking lot and says, hey, do you want a free do you want a free virus test? You be like, yeah. Like, all right, come behind this truck and let me do it. It's a suppository. Don't do that. Okay. I'm giving you fair warning right now, but I'll move on. What else we got? Oh, let's talk about Rand Paul destroying the impeachment of Donald Trump before it even begins. There's no point in having the impeachment anymore at any point in time because you already had 45 senators that said it's not constitutional at all. 45 senators says no, they don't think it is constitutional. So if they don't believe in the impeachment, then why would they vote in favor of it? 45 of them. And you got to understand, in order for you to have impeachment go through, in order to get a conviction, you got to have 2/3 supermajority. So what, like 68 votes, 67 votes? You got to have a lot more than 55 that they have right now that vote for it. You are short about 12 votes. So there's no point in going forward. If they already said they're not going to vote for impeachment for conviction in the impeachment trial, why would you go forward with it? And how are you going to try to get a guy impeached and convicted? It's not even in office anymore. The whole point of impeachment is to remove you from office. What they're trying to do right now is set things up for the future. They're saying all kinds of things right now. They're trying to say that they want to pack the court because they know right now they don't have that advantage. You got 5.5 to maybe about 3.5 conservative liberal, or really about 63 if you want to count Roberts as a whole conservative. But at worst, you got 5 to 4 conservative liberal. We have the advantage. So when they say they want to have a Supreme Court, I forget what they say they want to have. There's some kind of thing that Biden is staffing for right now. Some kind of Supreme Court council to overview it. I forgot exactly what they did. Okay, hold on. But yeah, he wants to have some kind of council, some kind of committee to examine, quote unquote, examine the Supreme Court. What that means is they're trying to lay the groundwork for court packing. They want to add new justices to the court. And I forget who that was on television today, one politician, I forget, but he was saying it might get to the point where they have 25 Supreme Court justices on the court. They might just pack it on the way out and have mostly all liberals in there. That's the whole point of having this little committee to investigate the Supreme Court or to review the Supreme Court. So you don't want that. And then they're also trying to attack the Electoral College. What's the point in doing that if they won the election allegedly? If they won and they didn't need the the Electoral College, why would they look at the Electoral College and try to attack that? Because they don't want a repeat of 2016. They know that the reason why Trump won is because of the Electoral College. So they're trying to eliminate any kind of way for Trump to come back or for a guy like Trump to come back. They know that if they have the Electoral College there, that's an avenue win. They know that if they had a Supreme Court the way it is, they're not going to be able to get certain things done. Roe v. Wade might go away. And they know that they're trying to make D.C. a state as well. They're trying to make D.C. a state, and they're trying to get more delegates. Like, they're playing this really dirty game, and it's all in a way to try to keep control, trying to keep power in the hands of the liberal Democrats. They're trying to become like a one-party rule, like communist China. This is why you have people on the left coast, as they say, or as I've heard, as California goes, so does America. That's kind of what's going on with California right now. You have open communists talking about this is great and how great Mao Zedong and Pol Pot and Idi Amin were. There was a lady running for office in Seattle, Washington, or Portland, one of the places. I think it was Portland or Seattle. Doesn't matter. Same thing. What's the difference? A few miles away. But anyway, she was running for office, and on her dress were the communist figures, just blatantly right out there in the open. Like, yes, I'm a communist. Yes, I'm Antifa. What's up? I'm running for office, and I'm serious. And she got a little bit of traction. I'm not really sure how much she got, but she got a little bit of traction. Like I was on my Instagram live, and follow me on Instagram, by the way, if you're not following my Instagram yet, Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. But I was on my Instagram live, and one of the callers asked me, they were like, hey, do you think that the conservatives will come more towards the center to gain more of the left? I'm like, we already center right now. The center is all about who's observing it. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, basically. I think we're center already. Some think we're far right as a whole. Some think that AOC is center, and they think that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are far right. You see what I'm saying? Although they're both on the left, some think that they represent like AOC for the center and then Pelosi Schumer far right. And they think that people like myself are just Nazis, just straight up Adolf Hitler, way beyond, not even on the political spectrum, no, off the rail all the way far to the right. That's what they think. And then they think Antifa are like kind of just regular leftists. That's kind of how their scale is. All right. So it all depends on what you mean by, the center. So that's going to be a serious issue as far as this whole thing with the court packing and whatnot. Right. Yeah, Puerto Rico as well. They want that to be a state. They want to break California up, get more. They want more House reps. They want to have more power in government and make it be like communist China. So we can't have that. I was watching one video where it was a lady from North Korea, and she was talking about how in South Korea, they're openly praising, what's the guy's name? Kim Jong-un. They say he's the rightful leader of the Korean Peninsula. In South Korea, they're talking about how good communism is. If only they can go to North Korea and see what's going on. If only they can go into the country right above them and see what's happening. People starving to death, eating rats, roaches, all of that kind of. If they could see that, then they will understand how bad communism is compared to capitalism. How bad a one system government dictatorship is compared to, more open type government. If only they can see. They don't understand that. Same thing over here in the States. They think communism is great because they live fantastic. It's easy to say how good communism is when you have the best country in the world. You can get up in the morning. You're not walking to the well to get water. Everything is right there provided for you. What problems do you have? You don't have any problems in your life. Everything is all good. So it's easy to say how great communism is in that context. All right. I'm a white supremacist. Hilarious. But yeah, so this is going to be a long time battle here to make sure that DC's not a state. California does not get more power. If California gets more power than they already have, it's going to be a problem for sure. All right. And then what else we got going on? Oh yeah. So Biden reversed the transgender ban in the military. One thing about the transgender ban is that it was not really a ban on transgenders because they were still in the military. I think you still had gays in the military as well. Um, the trans people were still there, but the issue was you could not have certain kinds of trans people. If you were a transgender and you had gender dysphoria, you would get banned for that. And the reason, the primary reason behind this is because people were claiming gender dysphoria to get a free sex change. Okay, and what does that mean if it's free in the military? That means you, the taxpayer, pay for it, and that's going to cause all kind of problems. You're going to need all kind of resources, special attention, training, just to do with you as a transgender person. And if you had a sex change, that's going to cause a lot of problems because are you a male or a female? Like, let's say you came in as Tyrone Johnson and you leave Tynesha Johnson, or you turn into quote unquote Tynesha. It's like, all right, well, are you still a male? I mean, how are you going to be a biological male now serving as female? All kind of problems. And you're going to have surgery? Okay. And you have gender dysphoria? That's a mental condition. So now you need a therapist. You need medication. You're going to be on hormone therapy. You're going to be out for a while, recovering from your surgery. That's going to impact military readiness. That's a very important thing. Military readiness. If you need to be out there on the front line for any kind of reason by being in the military, then you can't at the same time be having cosmetic surgery and mental problems. If you have diabetes, you may not be allowed in the military if it requires you to have certain kind of medication and whatnot. If you go in front of a review board and they say, nope, it's not really going to work. If you got certain kind of diabetes or your vision is bad or you get a bad back or whatever, you're not going to be allowed in the military. The whole thing about being transgender was just one thing that will preclude you from being in the military. It's not just that to keep you out. It's much more mundane things that aren't really discriminatory. It's a matter of military readiness. So if you chop off your twig and berries and talking about, yeah, I'm going to be on the front line with a weapon, and you're mentally ill because, again, gender dysphoria is a mental illness. It's a mental problem. If you got that going on, now you got a serious problem. You shouldn't really be in the military. So Biden has reversed that. So guess what? You're going to see a lot of guys and girls come out and say, hey, you know what? I just found out right on January 20th, 2021 that I have gender dysphoria. And check it out. I'm going to need to get a sex change on the house. So what's up? I need a sex change right now. All right. I'm a woman. I'm 5'2", 100 pounds, but I'm trying to be 6'3", 215 pounds. So what's up, man? I need a surgery today. I need bone extensions, weight gaining pills, all of that good stuff. And I need to be on a high fat, high calorie diet to get the weight up and keep it there. That's kind of what I'm exaggerating. Obviously, that's kind of what's going on though. And that in the military is not really supposed to be. This ain't no transgender breeding ground. This ain't nothing like that. This ain't no nothing. You're here to fulfill an obligation to the country. That's it. You know, your contract, your country, your unit, that's all. I'm not military, so don't get that twisted. I just know what I know from dad being in the military, uncle being in the military, granddad being in the military. That's what they tell me. This is what I know from them and also from just common sense. All right. Adam's apple size of a big, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that. So Biden has reversed that. Now you're going to see some problems in the military. And Biden's talking about, well, we got to go over what Biden did that may signal some more overseas action is to talk about, well, we got to go into Syria, do a little mission here. He already said that immediately. Like, he's sending a few more troops into Syria, talking about we're not going to leave Afghanistan. We'll still have U.S. forces there for forever, I guess. I guess we're just going to be the permanent police in Afghanistan. Maybe that's what's going on. But anyway, we got to have an Afghan force. We're going to be in Syria and Iraq. And then also, he cut off the Keystone XL pipeline. And the thing about the Keystone XL pipeline is that that's going to reduce the productivity coming from Alberta tar sands. So where are we going to get the oil that we need? We got to go to Saudi. We got to go to Kuwait. We got to go over in that part of the world. Oh, okay. Great. And they're talking about building a pipeline right now from Kuwait, Bahrain, or whatever on up through Syria, through Turkey, and then to Europe. How are we going to get that built? How are we going to do with any kind of conflict and whatnot in that particular area? How are we going to do with any kind of rebels trying to destroy what we're trying to build? Huh? Oh, okay. We got to go over there and destroy some stuff. Got it. No problem. No problem. So we're going to go over there, be dependent upon them, engage in senseless conflict just to get some infrastructure built up. Okay. Whereas we could have just had it over here and have an already agreed upon area that won't result in any kind of war. But nah, because you got guys that got their hands in the pot. Military, industrial complex, they want a piece of the action. The oil companies want it. Overseas, they want it. Afghan, Saudi, they want it. Everybody getting their palm greased. That's what's going on. This is the DC political way. Rather than doing things that make sense, you got to grease the palms of international people. All right. But we'll see. Like I was saying before, I may have said it here, may have not said it here, but this is going to be a giant red pill. This Biden, quote unquote, presidency, it's going to be a red pill. People might have thought that, Biden is good and better than Trump. All right. Okay. Well, you're going to see. You're going to see. You're going to see how real it is. You most certainly going to see that. All right. I'm reading some of the chat here. Yeah, I saw that, Matthew. The Chinese are now involved in our energy needs. Yeah, they're involved in the energy grid. That's a big time problem. That's a huge problem. Yeah, the gas is going to go up all day long. So I saw that Kelly Ward won her seat in Arizona. Shout out to her. Yep. What was that? To be the chairwoman of the RNC? Is that what's going on? Kelly Ward? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Okay. Kelly Ward, RNC. If I can type, that'd be good. Well, she just won her election. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. As of the Arizona GOP? Got it. That makes sense. So we're gonna see what's happening. China's over there. They swarming in the not the Red Sea, the South China Sea, doing little war games with Taiwan and stuff like that. Taiwan's going to be in a weird situation because Taiwan is not really its own independent nation. It is, but at the same time, it's not. Taiwan thinks it's independent because it's autonomous. China's like, no, you belong to us. It's almost like Hong Kong, although Hong Kong's not quite the same because that was a colonial type thing from the. That's a different story. But anyway, Taiwan's like, no, we have our own country. We don't belong to China. China thinks differently, and China's trying to claim that water right there on the South China Sea, which is very, very important. A lot of traffic coming right there, and China's trying to build a military, and it's a huge issue right there in the South China Sea. Food, water, gas, all of that is right there. Plus shipping, it's a really big thing. So we see what happens. We'll see how Biden handles all of that. We'll see what Biden does with China, if it's going to be tough on them or just let them do whatever they want. And please believe, China is coming for number one spot. China's trying to be the next America, really. I don't think they'll be able to do that, but they're making a heck of a run right now to try and get that top spot. Yeah, free Taiwan and Hong Kong. I think Taiwan has I think Hong Kong is pretty much done, unfortunately, as far as any kind of freedom effort. Taiwan may be able to have a freedom effort, but at the same time, China is so big and influential, it's hard. It's just a hard thing to really get beyond that shadow. Let me see. JF says, did you see Biden's UN candidate being grilled by Cruz because of her praise of China in a speech at Savannah U? I've not seen that. I have not seen it, but I need to check that out. I'm not surprised that there was a UN candidate praising China. That just kind of makes sense. That makes perfect sense. 1,000%. The massive blackout, I've not heard about anything of the sort. So I don't really know. I don't know anything about that. Now, who is Victoria Rose Smith? I think I've been seeing the Rose. I've been seeing that around, but I don't know who that is. All right. What else we got? There's something I'm missing here. I think it's something I'm missing. I pretty much got everything. Yeah, but the whole thing with the my biggest issue right now that I'm interested in is Wall Street bets. I may do a video on that tomorrow. Wall Street bets being banned and all of what they did. You're talking about billions of dollars. I figured when they did the whole Wall Street bets thing that it would be a problem, that it would be some kind of kickback from a lot of people because of all the money that's lost. You're talking about billions of dollars. The one hedge fund, I think they were short 55 million on GameStop to start, and when it and as of right now, or whenever they had to, buy the stock back, they needed 2.7 billion to get bailed out to even be operational. If I'm wrong about those numbers, let me know in the comments below. But that's what I read. 55 billion was their initial position, and when it was all said and done, they needed 2.7 billion to get bailed out to even stay afloat. It's crazy. Now, Biden's not going to help. Biden's not going to help Taiwan. Biden's going to refer to Taiwan as China. I've not heard I've not heard Biden say Taiwan yet. Maybe he has, but I've not heard it. To even say the word Taiwan to name it as a country is kind of controversial. If you go to China and talk about Taiwan, that's controversial. I mean, you could say Chinese Taipei or just China because they don't see Taiwan as an independent nation. They see it just like as a part of them. Like how we have Hawaii or something like that. That's how they see Taiwan. They don't look at it as an independent nation. All right. So we got super chats on deck. I'm gonna get to those, and then I'm gonna get back to it. Oh, I talk about Biden not wearing the mask. Yeah, I did talk about that. I think I spoke that. Spoke about that before, or maybe on the previous chat about how Biden signed the bill talking about you got to wear a mask on federal land, and then he went out there to the Lincoln Memorial with his whole family and did not wear a mask. That was hilarious to me. that was beyond hilarious, but it is what it is. Oh, Susan Rice. Oh, Susan Rice, the hatchet lady. To see her is kind of scary a little bit, actually. I'm a little shook of Susan Rice. She type person that might kill you in your sleep. Really. Just joking. No seriousness meant by that. Whoever the Google moderators are looking in here trying to see if I'm doing something crazy. All right. Yeah, Biden did ban the word China virus from a lot of the documents that Trump had produced about it. So it can't say China virus anymore. Is he going to put the proper name, coronavirus or COVID-19? Like, what's he going to put in its place? Or is he just going to remove any instances of the virus at all? Because I think coming up here, before super chats, I'm going to get to those in a minute. But I think the next step will be that they move on from the virus. They're going to move on. I mean, they already said they're going to open up. Okay, they're opening up in California and New York to a certain extent. Chicago, they're opening up already. They're loosening restrictions, and they're lowering the bar for what counts as a positive COVID test. So you're going to have less positive test results. If you're lowering the bar, you're going to have less results, period. So you're going to see the numbers go down, and they're going to point to it. They're going to say, hey, the numbers are going down. We've been doing a great job with Joe Biden in the first few days. He said he would get the numbers down. He said they get back to work, and he's been able to do it. Promises made, promises kept, when in reality, all they did was just stop counting as many people as having the virus as they did before. That's it. And then it starts to get warm up. When it starts to get warm, you're going to see less. People are going to be outside more sunlight, less cold. So you're going to see less and less and less because of the standards getting lower, and also because of the warm weather having an effect on the nation as far as not having a spike. Okay. They ridiculed Trump when he said that when it gets warmer to go away. Maybe it didn't go away, but it most certainly went down because you're outside and you have that warm air on you, and you're not in the cold where you're more susceptible to getting the virus, like the virus. So once we get back to warmer temperatures, it will pretty much go away because the tests won't pick it up as much and people won't have it as much. And you're going to have herd immunity. I heard Fauci saying that. So we're going to have that by the summertime. But I remember last year, if you said herd immunity, you were some kind of racist. You were a conspiracy theorist. You were a QAnon whack job. I was like, wait a minute. Why are you calling me names? I said something that now they're saying. They're saying the exact same thing, herd immunity. But they're saying, oh, they're only saying that because they're talking about the vaccine having an impact on herd immunity. But my thing was this. We were told that even saying that phrase at all was ridiculous, crazy, and it doesn't work like that, all this, that, and the third. All you had to say was that it is a thing, but you got to have a vaccine too. The vaccine must work in concert with you being out there, being around people. Therefore, you can reach herd immunity. But they didn't say that. They said that it's a ridiculous thing. Don't ever say it. And if you do say it, you're going to get banned. People are getting channels deleted for saying that. Now, Fauci says it. Joe Biden says it. Oh, okay, so it's cool now. The same thing we were saying back last year and we're getting banned for, you can say right now. Got it. So when Fauci says it, it's all gospel. Like I said before, if Fauci said put a plastic bag over your head, face, mouth, ears, nose, all that good stuff, and put it on very tightly, strap it down with some Gorilla Tape, some Gorilla Glue, just to give it a tight bond so you don't get any droplets out, people would do it. Forgetting to breathe, not even worried about breathing. What I need to breathe for? I ain't worried about it because grandma not gonna get sick, so I'm straight. That's next. I've seen all kind of dumb masks. I've seen basketball shoes as masks, birthday hats, hair bonnets, plastic bags, multiple masks everywhere, all over the face, the nose. I saw a mask right here, like a clown nose right there, a mask. It's like, that's not a mask. You have a clown nose on, sir. That's not a mask, but that's what they do. That is what they do. All right, super chats on deck, and then we'll get to the calls. Shout out to Apple who says ABL out of 10 rate President Biden's first week. I'm gonna give it a 1. If we go from 1 to 10, I give it a 1. If we go 0 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 0. That's just what that is. And he also says, great video on Amazon mail-in vote. Why are liberals, same thing. Why are liberals hypocrites? Well, that's what they do. The liberal Democrats, they always say, do as I say, never as I do. That's their mantra. So they're going to be hypocrites regardless. That's just what it is. They'll say, don't do that, and then go out there and do it. And then if you do it, they'll put you in jail for it while they did it. They will put you in jail for what they do while they're doing it. Apu says, my opinion on Rand Paul's work this week. He did a great job. Shout out to Rand Paul. I like Rand Paul a lot. And he looks a lot more intelligent now with what's going on. I'm not saying he was dumb before for some reason. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that he has been doing a very good job speaking his mind out there on Capitol Hill, for sure. Also, 45 Republicans supported Rand Paul impeachment DOA. That's right. So if you got 45 guys on your side to oppose impeachment, and they're all on Rand Paul's side, all conservatives, you're not going to reach 68 or whatever the number is to convict him. It's not going to happen. There's not enough people. And he says, your take on ABL Biden, on Biden voters missing President Trump. Yeah, I think that a lot of people are going to miss President Trump and take him for granted. They bought into this whole thing about Orange Man bad, Orange Man this, Orange Man that, and didn't realize what kind of guy they got. They have a very good guy on their hands, a guy's going to look out for the best interests of the country. They did not realize what they had on their hands, and now they're going to miss him for sure. I'm following this account on Twitter called Biden Voters Posting L's. I'm already following that, and you seeing the regret. Maybe they won't even admit it outright, but there will be some regret now that you got Biden in there doing whatever he wants to do. Well, not even what he wants to do. Biden is doing whatever the Democratic Party tells him to do. He gets up in the morning, gets the applesauce or whatever he eats in the morning, and, tall glass of milk, some water, whatever, lemon, and they say, okay, check it out, Joe. What we're going to do, we're going to the press room at about 8 a.m., here's some papers to sign, executive orders. They'll be right there. The pen will be right in the center. So all you got to do, go to the lectern, the podium, whatever you want to call it, give your little talk right from the teleprompter. Take it slow. Ain't no point in rushing because ain't nobody watching. Nobody cares. So when you get done with that, go to the little baby desk and sign the executive orders. Matter of fact, you can read it if you want to. It'll be right on the front. Big letters, so you can read what it is, sign it, move on to the next. And then when they ask you questions, you can come up with a snarky quip. You could do that and not answer any questions. Press secretary do the same thing. I'll circle back to you on that one and leave it there. That's how it works. Civil War history says Reddit versus Wall Street. Finally, we the people get over on the big guys. He also says TD Ameritrade put restrictions on AMC and GameStop. What happened to free trade in our own country? That's a good question. You had a lot of pauses in the stock, and a lot of the apps were quote unquote malfunctioning and overloading due to high traffic, all this and that and the third. Yeah. Doug Ripley says, ABL, who wins in the rematch, Godzilla or King Kong? I'm going to give it to Godzilla just straight because, he has the advantage of being able to be, I don't know. I think I just like Godzilla for the water element. Civil War history says, you see these short sellers like Siltron, Melvin, whenever they start losing money, they put out a blog or a video to drive the stock down, but they're blaming the small retail investor. Yeah, so it's like if they're trying to blame the small investor for, I guess, manipulation, then what is it when they put a video out trying to drive the stock down? Isn't that also manipulation? Like, what's going on? I mean, at a certain point, it's just a game people are playing. And if it's legal, then all bets are off. That's it. Thank you for your donation, Yolanda. I appreciate you. Masu Tara says, remember when GOP Senator Tom Cotton called slavery a necessary evil? I do not remember that. It's interesting, though. Thank you to Marie Stark for the Keep It Up donation with the working out emoji. Thank you to my man, Killer Sushi, who says, I respect your bootleg hustle. I sold candy in school. Blow pops firewall 50 cents. Yup, I did that too. I used to sell gum. I had a pack of gum, 25 cents, like Big Red, Wrigley's. I had that. And I sold the 25-cent pack. I think I sold each one for like 10 cents, 10 to 15 cents. So if it was 5 in the pack at 25 cents, I could double up to get 50 cents. And now what I would do is take that 50 cents and go get a coolie or something in the lunch line. I was like 14, 15 doing that. That's how I hustle for extra lunch money. Yep, turn a quarter into 2 quarters. Let me see. So then he started making cinnamon dip toothpicks to sell. Ah, see, that's smart. Cinnamon dip toothpicks, very smart. If I could have had mint dip toothpicks to sell, I'd have been the man. Shout out to Readiness who says Chris Cuomo testing Don Lemon every night. Is that what's going on? See, look, all right. See, you're going too far. AN1, shout out to my man AN1. AN1 says ABL 2024. He gets my vote. I appreciate you, AN1. Thank you, man. Bear Bait says, I wish Trump got into politics 10 years ago. We could have avoided a whole lot of BS. Also, there's no way I'm taking the rectal COVID test. Yeah, I'm not taking that one. You can keep that one to yourself. Shout out to Bear Bait who says, I don't even know what I'm signing. Joe Biden. Thursday have a notice now, and they say Trump was a tyrant. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's signing. I mean, like I said, they get him up in the morning, get him the applesauce, and they say, hey, man, go out there and say that. It's already written for you on a teleprompter. Read that right quick. Go to the baby desk and sign the EOs. You can read it if you want to afterwards, but look, we don't got no time for that, man. Just sign the papers and shut up and take your medicine. That's pretty much what's going on with Joe Biden. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, I don't feel sad for Joe Biden or the Democratic Party either. Thank you to Lee who says, please let the people know that fixing the voting irregularities is secondary to choosing or reprimanding the judges. We wouldn't be here if they did their jobs. Let's get to work. And shout out to Chris who says, I went to Fatburger in LA and some guy was wearing a ski mask. Wow. And they still served him. But if I took mine off, they would probably kick me out. That's hilarious. A ski mask with the mouth out, like with that one. What's the purpose? I guess they didn't say, it couldn't be a ski mask, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you to Airborne Port for your donation. And thank you to Louis from Spain who says, continuing their joke, they could name the trans in the military the Suicide Squad. Wow, that is hilarious. Dark, but hilarious. Another reason they shouldn't be there. Exactly. You got a very high rate of suicide among trans people. That's a fact. people are going to say that it's somehow, what they're going to say it's somehow offensive or some kind of obic oberist, but it ain't nothing like that. Nothing at all. This is just a fact of life. You have a very high rate of suicide within transgenders. So maybe they shouldn't be in the military. Maybe you need to be battle ready. And if you have a mental disorder, mental condition, that's not battle ready. Work that out first, then come back and figure out what you want to do with yourself. But until then, you don't need to be in the military. That's just what's going on. Shout out to Per Kalo, who says, I live in Texas. All conservatives come here. We will secede, bring President Trump here and build the wall around Texas. LOL. Hey, I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. And you know what? The thing is, we need people to come to Texas that are conservative, because a lot of Californians coming out there. They're coming to Austin and Dallas and Houston. They're going out there. So you don't want them to try to take over Texas and make that become blue. I was watching the election between Beto and Ted, and it's kind of close. A little bit too close for me. It's a little bit too close. I got kind of nervous. Now, I think it's going to be a crazy feat to make Texas turn purple, let alone blue. But they're trying to make it go from red to blue. They're definitely trying. All right. Thank y'all again for being here. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. And we got calls on deck, of course. So let's get to those. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's get Skype up and running. If it wants to work, that'd be great. If it's not working, it's not my fault. Blame the white man. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get my Skype audio and everything rocking and rolling, and then we'll be good to go. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
Yo, ABL, what up?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Question. Since this whole Wall Street thing is brought up, have you ever thought about investing in stocks?
I have stocks.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking, I was in college right now, and I was short on cash. But once I get out of college, I thought I could start investing in stock.
Oh, do it, man. Like, you could do it now, really. You could get on Robinhood. It's an app on your phone.
All right, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
But long story short, this is what happens when you get too greedy. Because, and I'm not that financially literate, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but shorting stock is not a big of an issue. The problem is these hedge funds decided to short stock at 100%. They tried putting it all in because, who cares about GameStop?
At 120%. They were really high. They had a really high hedge. A really high bet on the short. But see, it's a risk. Like you said, it is greed.
Yeah, it is greed. But you should know that as bad as GameStop was doing, it didn't go bankrupt. It didn't file for bankruptcy. And that's why they were able to do this. And then these Redditors on WallStreetBets found out by looking at literally all the stocks, they saw this, and then they told a bunch of people to invest, and now we're here. So it's very cool. It was smart of them, but they're being slandered by the press right now. I'm telling you, they're saying, gamers doing this. Somebody said it was Russians doing this.
Wow, really? The Russia thing again? It's funny because they say that people on the right are conspiracy theorists who believe anything. But they believe this whole Russia thing. They blame anything. It could be somebody that fell down and broke their hip. Oh, the Russians did it. It's like, come on, stop.
Yeah. And there was one person that said that they had invested $50,000 in stocks and ended up getting $22 million cash back.
Wow.
So, yikes. And these are a variety of people. So you got a pastor who benefited from this, a former truck driver, a high school student did it for GameStop. So yeah, this is great. I love it. I love everything that's happening.
Yes, it's wild. It's really crazy.
About the mask thing. It's funny people are bringing up the whole wearing two masks thing, because you wouldn't need to wear two masks if we weren't buying Chinese products all the time. Um, so if you bought a mask and I told you about this woman who did an experiment where if you blow on a fire with a mask made in Houston, it doesn't blow out, which means it works. But if you did it with a mask made in China, the fire blows out. So you would have to wear two masks and all that stuff.
Wow.
Also, there's the whole thing with the face shield. Like people are saying wear masks because that's bad for you, but what about the face shield? Nobody's wearing that.
I mean, what you mean is like wearing like two face shields? Like, what we gonna do about that?
No, I was thinking that if these people cared so much about the health of their people or what's best, they would advocate for, and I'm not advocating for this, but they would advocate for face shields because
Oh
your
yeah.
eyes are.
But you know what? I think they know that it's all a game. Like it just I feel like right now we're just being trolled. They're just seeing whatever they make us do. Okay, wear two masks, look ridiculous out in public. Okay, you can do that. Or how about this? How about what China is doing by taking the test up to where the sun don't shine? Whatever they can just to humiliate you and make you just look ridiculous out there. It's not even about safety at this point, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, it's the political purposes because you saw what Gavin Newsom did just a week, like not even a week after Biden became president. Boom, let's
Yeah,
reopen the
open
economy.
up exactly.
It's just terrible. All right, I'm gonna bail, ABL. I'll be in chat and I'll talk to you later.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, shout out to my man Jordan for the call. And we got a whole lot going on here. Let's get to the next one. Let's go to 314 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Adam from St. Louis.
All right, man. What's happening?
Hey, I was just wondering, do you think Joe Biden's press secretary has dementia just like him? Because every time she goes out to the podium, she knows absolutely nothing that's going on.
That's a good question. I think that there's not really any kind of. That's a very good question. Here's what I think. Joe Biden is not actually communicating with her because he doesn't know what's going on. So she's not getting any information from anybody. You got a Democratic Party working behind the scenes, just doing stuff, and then she has to go out there and try to spin it some kind of way. They're not telling her anything. She goes out there when he goes out there, and she discovers things same time he discovers it. She reads whatever he reads right when he's reading it. She does not know anything beforehand because he does not actually govern. It's the Democratic Party doing it behind the scenes, and they don't talk to her at all.
Right, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. That's all I got for tonight. So have a good night.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good question because he's not actually governing. He's not talking to her ever. I mean, the Democratic Party doing things behind the scenes. They're telling him to go out there, sign papers, don't fall on your hind parts. Just, don't look too old. Talk slowly when you read the speech from the teleprompter, and that's it. And then poor Jen Psaki's out there just trying to, just spin her way through answers. And then when she can't spin, she's like, okay, I'll circle back around. So when she can't spin, she spins. But I digress. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Sonia. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
Okay. Well, I didn't think I would ever watch the news once Biden became president, but because they are always doing something that goes against everything they said before, it's kind of hard not to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. You got to see what's going on because it's just so much happening. You got to be aware.
And, I think that in his defense, playing devil's advocate for a little bit, the reason why he's signing all those executive orders is because he probably doesn't remember what he said about them.
Yeah. I mean,
it's possible.
He's probably not ever reading anything. He's probably just being told to sign whatever they put in front of his face. He don't know what's going on. He's like, okay, I'll do it.
And you know what's crazy? They always say that the Democrats, that everything that they did, allegedly, it was all a power grab. And I was thinking, if that's true, that only means the elite. What do the voters get out of it? And the reason why I'm confused is because just because you voted for Biden doesn't mean that you can afford all the crazy things that they're doing. I know that a lot of people were focused on the taxes for the 400K and up crowd. They were thinking in terms of how much money you make, and that they didn't feel like it was going to affect them. But there's these other little things happening that don't make any sense. For instance, have you ever heard of the step-up basis? Something to do with selling your home. I don't know if I said it correctly, but apparently, if he changes this tax law, and this has nothing to do with how much money you make. It just means if you try to leave your house to your kids, let's say like you get it in an inheritance, you can only sell it for the value that it was before. Not when you get it. You'd have to pay the taxes for what it's worth at the time you get it. And I understand that could be really, really high, like a crazy amount. If the market value, let's say if your parents bought a house for $30,000, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, by the time you inherit it, it's worth, let's say, $500K. You pay the taxes on the difference if you inherit that home, if I understand correctly. Have you heard about this?
No, I've not heard about that. I need to look into it.
Yeah, it's called Step Up or something. And apparently it's a tax law that's been in effect since the 1920s or so. I'm not sure. And he wants to change it. And do you know why he wants to do with them? Why he wants people to pay these taxes? What he wants to do with that money?
What's that?
Free tuition, free college tuition.
But see, here's the thing about it. I mean, it's an oxymoron to say free tuition and then raise taxes to do it. So you're forcibly taking money from me that I may not want to spend on college to give to someone else for college. So it's not free. It's just a way of taking more money from the general public. And then my thing is, okay, if you're taking that money from us, you get first dibs on it. So I don't know where it's going. You might give some of that money towards this particular program or spend the rest on whatever you want to spend it on, just on little pet projects, on gender reassignment surgery in the military.
Yeah, and that's like a little sneaky thing because it seems to me that, let's say, the low information voters only thinking about tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. But these are other tax laws that have nothing to do with how much money you make. And, of course, just because you own a home doesn't mean you're rich. And so that's how that would impact those people. And then about the transgender, my goodness gracious. I cannot believe that this is their order of business, like one of the first things they want to do. And before I go down that rabbit hole, I don't want to forget this last question about the power grid. What does that have to do with China, and why do they have access to it?
I don't know that all the way. That's kind of a thing that I need to look more into. But China could be involved in a few different ways. Like right now, they're involved with our food industry because they own Smithfield Foods and probably some other stuff too. So it's like, do we want them involved with things that we need, like the power grid, food, stuff like that? Because that can be very dangerous. If they own too much of it, they can control it. And we don't want a foreign nation to be able to control things like that.
Oh, my God, it's so frightening because they already call him China Joe, and then he does this thing that has to do with China. And then real quick before I go, because I know you got a lot of calls, back to the transgender. I follow this woman who talks about all these things to do with the teens and transgender, and I was surprised. Montana, is that a red state?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, she wrote this on her tweet, this doctor that follows this transgender stuff. The ACLU of Montana is claiming trans girls are girls, and they're using the Biden EO to threaten Montana with $484 million loss in federal funding if they do not allow biological males into girls' sports.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, I'll let you go. Have a good show. Thanks, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, to have a biological male in women's sports is just totally unfair. You're going to erase women. I mean, it just because men have physical characteristics that are God-given that women don't have. It's an unfair advantage. If you want to have fair competition, have women go against other women. That's fair. It's like having a weight class in boxing, MMA, or whatever. It's unfair to have, Mike Tyson fight Floyd Mayweather at their peak of their success. You got a guy that's a heavyweight with a neck that's like the size of a truck tire versus a very small guy. He can fight, but the size difference is too much. So imagine a man with a physically different body, bone structure, all of that, versus a woman her actual physical body is different. Not even just the height and the weight, but the physical body, the internal, all of that, the bone structure, all of that is different. It's just unfair. It's totally unfair. Try to run against men in track. If you have male track runners versus female track runners, there's no way that the female track runners could win. Usain Bolt against like Usain Bolt versus Jackie Jordan Kersey, like some of the best females ever run track. It just is no comparison. It's just no comparison. It's unfair. Basketball, LeBron James, 6'8", 280 pounds, moves like Floyd Mayweather, that agile, even at his age, my age, what, 36, 35, 36? That's LeBron James' age. Still agile, still can move around, dunk effortlessly. But you got women that are like 6'8" that can barely dunk. You got guys, you have men that are 5'3" and can dunk. Women that are 6'8" and can barely get over the rim. It's unfair, but I digress. 405 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, you're speaking right now to Dennis. I have a question for you, and maybe you heard it tonight. Why are they blacking out the White House at nighttime? And you know, when you call on the phones, none of them answer. Every last one of them is said they're temporarily disconnected. And why come the VP, why come she's not in her quarters? And how did Joe Biden and Jill get locked out?
Well, I don't know about the White House. That's a good question because they are showing it not lit up at night. I don't know what's going on with that. I have no idea. Maybe they're trying to figure out a way to get that going because they fire a lot of the staff. Maybe they have not replaced that staff that does that. I don't really know. And I think they're trying to renovate the VP quarters. So they got Kamala staying like in the guest type of house for some reason while they renovate. But I don't know much about anything else.
Plus, we got troops still there.
Well, yeah, they got troops still there. Yeah, they're gonna have troops there still. I think until the end of February, or something like March. Oh wow, long time.
Yeah. Well, you call those numbers, the comment line or anything, even the 1-800 number, and they said that these numbers are temporarily disconnected.
Wow, they got tightened up. Get it together. It's like, you know, kind of ghetto. They got to get it together.
Well, it's not. The thing about it is that man is not in that house. Yeah, no, there's that man in that house. That man is in his basement praying. And anything he signed, those are blank sheets of paper. Come on now, y'all look at that. Ray Charles can see that. He's blind. He was blind. But like I say, everybody needs to tighten up, and you need to write your congressmen and your legislators and let them know, hey, we're not going to stand for this. If we stand, we got to stand for something. If we don't stand for nothing, but this is something that we got to stand for. Because if we don't stand up and say, listen, my vote needs to be counted. Well, you can't call them, so write them. Email them, do something. You know, Rand Paul told the truth today. Why y'all keep messing with this man? Is there what threat is he to you? There's a threat there. Donald J. Trump knows something on somebody that can sink the whole ship. And that's the reason why they don't want him back in there, so he can sink that ship. Okay, ABL, I'm just wanting to know if you can dig into that and see why no phone service, go dark out every night. Something ain't right there. Smell, I smell a rat. How about what say you?
Hey, maybe so, but I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you. All righty. So shout out to the callers, and you guys are great. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you can't get in right away, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man for that, like everything else in the world. Okay, let's get to the next one. Unknown caller, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Unknown caller, hello.
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to? All right, unknown caller, you got to tighten up. Okay, before I continue, if you pick up the phone, you cannot look at the screen. There will be a delay, so do not try to look at the screen. This ain't FaceTime. It ain't going to work. Okay, just talk to me on the phone, and you'll be good to go. All right. So sorry to the caller, but I had to move on. Let's get to the next one. 509, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Josh. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, yeah, I just kind of wanted to call in. We're me and my family are big supporters of yours, and Yeah, man. Just real quick, just wanted to touch on that bill that he signed about being able to the transgenders in the military. I'm a 6-year Navy vet, and I'll tell you what, man. The operational readiness is such a huge factor, you know, and I feel like he's not even taken into account, like, you know, like you'd mentioned before, all the on top of all the sensitivity training and, you know, just every Dick and Harry that just decides that they want to malinger a bit. I mean, there's already such a huge problem, you know, in the military with people malingering, you know, constantly. You know, they want to milk this, they want to milk that, and I feel like, man, this is just like opening the floodgates for, you know, a lot of like, you know, damage that they're not going to be able to, really come back from.
Yeah, I think so. And at the same time, they're talking about they want to do more military operations. They're talking about going overseas more and having more of a presence in Afghanistan. So it's like, okay, you want more military action potentially, but at the same time, you want to have less military readiness. So how does it make any sense?
Well, right, and they want to take away from their budget too.
Right.
You know, I mean, there was a few places. I mean, I was deployed. I was in the Seabees, and so. We didn't have a whole lot of females. I mean, here and there, but typically when you'd go somewhere, you know, kind of, especially out of the wire, you know, there just wasn't females because of, I mean, there's just too many more steps, you know, that have to be taken when you're having to accommodate and regardless, I mean, there's just too many variables. You know, I mean, especially, anytime you get away from just male and female, you know, obviously, you know, there's going to be, you know, quite a handful of variables. But I just I feel like it's coming off like, I don't know, a huge weakness. And I feel like this is just one thing among many that's literally turning us into the laughing stock right now.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because we shouldn't be this way. We should be very respected and, you know, treated as such. But with this kind of stuff going on, it's like a circus, and then it becomes entertainment for other people, for other countries, and we shouldn't be seen in that light.
Right. No, and then just one more thing real quick, and I'll let you go. I did hear something about that Canada might possibly be filing a suit or something against, you know, either Biden or against the United States or whatever, something having to do with like the original contract for the Keystone Pipeline. Like, have you heard like any truth behind that?
Well, I've not really heard about that, but I wouldn't doubt it. It makes sense to me.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, sir. And thanks again for taking my call, and thanks for putting out this awesome content. And me and my family just really appreciate the good stuff you put out there, and kind of regardless of the censorship and stuff, we really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night, man. Bye.
Alrighty. Yeah, that makes sense for Canada to try and, sue, because they already agreed upon this. This is something that's already been kind of happening, and it's been a long, drawn-out thing. So they won't just let it go for no reason. They're going to continue to really try to pursue that for sure. They won't just leave and vanish overnight. It ain't going to happen. They may want it to be that way, but it's not going to be that way. That's just a fact. All right, so let me get to some more calls here. And if you want to get in through Skype, there's an email for that in the description box below. You can add me on that, and you could be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Let's get to the next one. All right, calling online, speaker to 617.
Hey, Anthony, Dr. Logan.
All right, what's going on?
Hey, Dr. Logan, how are you? I saw your video today. You bashing Dr. Fauci about the mask.
Hey, I'm just saying what he said.
Well, why I didn't listen about the 2 masks. Wearing the 2 masks. Do you know what is the reason behind it?
You
Because
said
it usually
that
tells you what.
he said that the extra barrier can help you to prevent the particles from coming out. It could, if one barrier is good, then another barrier would be good too. That's what he said.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure it comes with the data and the scientific studies, but it doesn't just talk nonsense. It usually come out the data and scientific studies, testing. You do all that.
So when he said, when he said don't wear a mask, what was the data behind that?
Okay, I'll explain. You remember when in March we didn't have enough information about the COVID-19 virus. The only thing we knew, there was a pulmonary infection, and we knew the symptoms. So that means he said, if you have symptoms, wear a mask. If you're not going to stay home, I mean, you got to go to the grocery store, wear a mask, because we don't know if it's COVID-19 or it's the flu, because we didn't have enough testing back then.
So
when
did he say that? I never heard him say that.
He said that. Listen. He said that back in March, when the virus broke out. We didn't have enough data. We didn't have enough information. We didn't have enough testing, because if we would have the pandemic response team, we would have had scientists in China that could have provided us the information. They destroyed the whole pandemic response team under the Trump administration, actually. So we didn't have enough information. That's what he said.
So what Fauci said was in the interview, there's no need to wear a mask. It might block a droplet or two, but it won't help you that much. The mask should be for medical professionals, not for just random people. If you're sick, you can wear it, but if you're a healthy person, then don't wear it. He said that. He said it on TV. 60 Minutes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. See, you're sick, so you don't pass the droplet to someone that is healthy.
Exactly. So now he's saying Now he's saying everybody wear it, even if you're not sick.
So let me explain you why. As more data started coming in, as more information started coming in, that all scientists work with data and information, 80% of the population that have been sick with COVID-19, they are non-symptomatic, and they could have high low on the virus in the system that could pass it on to someone else. So that means you could be walking around with no symptoms, pass it on to 10 people. So that's why they made a decision. Everybody should wear a mask to avoid the droplets going from one person to another person. So that's what that's what you do. That's how you make your money. You put clips, you capitalize on them, you get more viewers, and YouTube pay you more. I understand.
So when did Fauci reverse what he said at the beginning? Because he was wrong at the beginning, according to you. He was wrong. Then he came out and said, "Wait, I'm not done talking, sir. I'm not done talking." So according to you, he was wrong at the very beginning because he said you don't need to wear a mask. Leave it for the medical professionals, people that actually need it, not just random people on the street, because it might block a droplet or two, but it won't be this big, perfect protection. Everybody thinks it is what he said at the very beginning. So when did he change his tune? Because obviously the tune has changed. He went from saying don't wear a mask to wear a mask to wear two masks. So when did he actually change his stance from what he said originally on 60 Minutes? So when did he change his stance? Answer the question. Answer the question.
No, but I want to be on the air so people could listen.
Look, you're on the air. Answer the question.
I'm on the air.
We don't got our night. Come on, do it. Come on.
Okay, so you have non-symptomatic people that could pass it on.
No, the question, sir. Listen to me. Listen to me very well. The question was, when did he change his stance?
In March, he said not to wear masks. In April, he said to wear masks. And now he's saying to wear two masks. I don't know about the two masks because I didn't.
So wait a minute. So I didn't hear you. So when did he change his stance?
I just told you.
I didn't hear you.
In March, when the virus broke out, he said not to wear masks. In April, he said to wear masks because there were people that were non-symptomatic and could pass it on to people with symptoms or another non-symptomatic person.
And now he's saying wear two masks.
Well, I don't know why
that's something different.
Wear two masks. That's what I'm saying. I didn't listen to updates today.
So
but I know
he had one opinion first.
Anyway,
then it was different opinion.
Your job is to capitalize
so he had one opinion first. Then it was different opinion. Then it was different opinion. And then he came out and said the reason why he said to not wear a mask at the beginning is because he did not want a run on the masks that were there for the medical professionals. But when he was in the interview, he was saying the reason why he was saying that is because you might block a droplet or two, but it won't be as perfect protection you think it is. So he lied according to his own statement in his own words. He lied in the very beginning, then changed it, and then changed it again. So why would I believe anything that he says?
I should believe it because every time that he comes with information, it's a new data.
But wait, no. He lied. He said, I'm gonna talk. He said that he lied. He lied.
It does not a lie. But you don't let me put it there because
no, sir. Listen. Let's just pause for a minute, and then I'm gonna get what I gotta say out. But see, when I talk, anytime that I talk, you gotta understand this by now. Anytime that I talk, nobody can hear you at all. I can't either, so it don't even make a difference. So here's the thing. Now, he said that he lied at the very beginning to protect the mask supply. He said that. So what do you say about that?
I just want to go back again.
The question was, listen, we gotta run the show, man. We don't got all day for all this back and forth and all this Amos and Andy. The question was, he lied at the very beginning, and he said that he lied. What do you think about that?
He never lied. That's not a lie. You don't have enough data to make a decision, so you only made a decision on the data that you have, the information that you have. That's what you told your.
He said that he made that statement because he wanted to protect the mask supply. He was not telling the truth. He lied. He said he lied.
He told the truth. There were people non-symptomatic that we didn't know at that time. Read the whole briefing. Don't read just a clip. Read the whole briefing. Listen to the whole
how do you feel about what he said, sir? Listen, sir. How do you feel about when he said the only reason why I did that is because I was trying to protect the mask supply?
He said that at the beginning. Then he said we don't have enough information.
All right, you're not answering the question. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you. It's just so difficult to get through with a person that's not trying to listen. But see what Fauci, same thing. Fauci said at the very beginning he was trying to protect the mask supply for the medical professionals. And that's why he said don't get a mask. Then he come out and said something different. When he had to come out and say something different. Now he's saying, hey, wear 2 masks. So what's he going to say next? I mean, he'll tell you, put a plastic bag on, you'll do that too because it's Dr. Fauci and you believe in whatever he says. Believe the science. All right. Exactly, Roz. He said he lied. So that's his own words. He admitted he was lying. Correct. Let's get to the next call. Let's go 706 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. What's up, man? It's Ben.
All right, man. Everything's good. What's happening?
Hey, I just wanted to touch bases real quick on this whole trans issue since you had a couple of veterans call in, and I did 10 years in the Navy, and I don't know, just if there was a way to weaken the military and just kind of make us, I don't know, just destabilize our overall defensive capability from within, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it.
Yeah.
I served under, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I served after when they repealed it under Barack Obama, and I didn't have a problem with it. I knew people that were openly gay and served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They just kept their business to themselves. And that's being an adult. That's being a man or a woman, But everything's changed, and, for the most part, the old school people I served with, and when I was in, I'm in my 30s, I don't care. Nobody cares. I had a kid. I had to hide out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell because this man was afraid he would be deported because he was a non-citizen. He was trying to get his citizenship through service. And he was like, well, I'm gay, and I think people know. I'm like, well, just you need to keep it on the low. Keep it to yourself. That's nobody's business, so just keep it to yourself. But, here's the big problem now with this whole transgender thing. Are you going to be able to fulfill your obligations? Are you going to be able to fulfill your duties? I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of that. It's going to be too much focus on this identity nonsense. Identity nonsense has nothing to do with can you, put on that vest, that helmet, and go defend your country if so called. Can you go stand a watch, and fulfill your duty so, somebody else can, sleep or, we can be free back home. That's what it's about. It has nothing to do with what you identify as, skin color, whatever. That's called a service. And if you wanted to tear apart the military from within, this is the way to do it because people are going to be confused. People are not going to know how to accept it. They're just going to have stuff crammed down their throats. And when people have no options, you don't have a say. Okay, and some people can accept that because service is, it's a duty. You don't bark out when things are put down the pipe, especially in the enlisted ranks. You just go with the flow. You don't have a choice. You signed up for this. That is the deal. Okay, but this goes beyond that. How do you house these people? How do you house them? Okay, you're a man, but you want to be a woman. Can you be housed in the same barracks as biological females or males? Are you going to become a predator? Are you really doing what you're saying you want to do, or are you exploiting the system so you can do something? I think there's big problems with that, because that, as a former military leader, that's the first question I would ask is, how many of these people are actually on the level and being honest that they're transgender or want to be transgender, or are they exploiting a potential system for some kind of predatory gain? And the last thing I'll touch on, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just talking, but the last thing I'll touch on, and then I want to open up for your thoughts, but is when I was in, I know, there's a hierarchy to promotion, okay? And I had a lot of friends, and they would clown and say, brother, you're a white dude, you laugh. I was like, what do you mean, man? I didn't know that. I've never heard of it. They're like, look, man, here's a breakdown. Latinos, Hispanics, Asian Americans, Native Americans, blacks, whites. You at the bottom, brother. Good luck. And I was shocked, because I thought everything was based on merit. My eval or this and that. No, it wasn't. And that was toward the end of my career, and it kind of took the wind out of my sails. But how is this going to play into it? Because now you might have to compete with somebody who, they're transgender. Is there any point to try, young men and women trying to progress in the military? Will there be? Because maybe now you're further down the totem pole. No matter how hard you work or score, you're just going to be indefinitely at the bottom. Your thoughts? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's a lot right there. I mean, I don't know too much about all of that at the end, but I do know about the whole thing with the transgender. I mean, it's going to get in the way. It's going to be a distraction, and it's going to just be a serious problem that the military does not need. You got to have the readiness, and that's just pretty much it. It's not even about, discrimination or whatever. You just want to keep, you want to be able to manage people and to keep everything going smoothly. If it's not going smoothly, then it's a problem.
That is it exactly, and I'll close real quick. One of your callers said something about Operation Readiness and all that. If you can't depend on having the appropriate people there, more and more people are going to have to fill in and do double things, and that's already comes with the territory since the military has been shrunk over the last 20 plus years. Is years ago you go in, you maybe had one job, and you could probably do that for your whole enlistment. It became 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and then when you got more and more seniority, you got more jobs. I did one tour, and I'll close. I had 6 different jobs and got paid the same check, and then I was still only in the top 3 when it came to promotion. And I was like, dude, I'm working on my BA, and I have all these extra jobs. So what? You are where you are. So that's why I touched on that, because it might be, doesn't matter what your race is, you might fall into a whole new category because you're not transgender. You're just going to be stuck. And
right.
Then when you get out, you're going to be even more confused, because now the civilian world is even more unknown to you, and you will follow this set of rules. Because I struggle in the civilian world. I've been in the civilian world for 6 years. I struggle bad, and a lot of veterans are going to find it even harder. And so, I just want us all, we need to pray for our country and just look to each other, men, women, wherever our backgrounds are. We got to look to each other and don't fall for this ridiculous charade, please, Lord.
That's right, man.
Thanks for hearing me.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. God bless.
All right, let's get to the next call here. 712, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Al.
Hey, man, what's going on? I got a little bit of feedback in the background.
Okay, let me walk away from that. I was just looking to make sure I had the right number. I called. It's been a while since I talked to you. I want to talk a little bit about the game stock.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually was watching this almost all day. It's not over yet.
No?
No. Did everybody notice how much the stock market took a big drop today? And yet you had a few basically worthless stocks I'm going to put out there saying that basically rise. I believe it was a lot of these hedge funds that were basically selling off to cover their stock terminology is put, which means sell. They actually they had 128% on basically shorten the stock. Shorten means basically they're believing the stock's going to go down. They're actually just trying, like, almost driving the company out of business. So, kind of just sitting there listening to this, watching it all happen. The thing about it's the options thing. Try to explain it real fast. The options is basically you can option where you can think it's going to go higher or you think it's going to go lower. You got a set date. Now the big date is this Friday. So I believe you're going to see that stock go up a little more, or if it just stays steady right there, and you'll probably see more selling going on. And this is just my observation of what I'm seeing. And we had CNN or CNBC, whatever you want to call it, what do you call that?
The Squawk Box?
Squawk Box, yeah, whatever. You had them on there saying, oh, there's got to be something done about this. There's got to be something done about this. You know what? The markets have been manipulated by these hedge funds for a long, long, long time. So you've got, just happened that Elizabeth Warren wants something done about it. So I think, these are they're very greedy people, and I even heard that a lot of Hollywood people were crying about this. Kind of wondering if that was their hedge fund. Hedge funds ain't really for you or me because we're just peons. So, but I expect this to get more volatile the next couple of days, maybe even a week. There's going to be that one gentleman was right. The first caller, I believe. He was right. There's a guy that he's going to be a $40 million, and I believe he's pretty much still all in, which he has nothing to lose because he bought like at $6, $7, $8. So I mean, for him, now getting out of it is going to be the trick. And I'm not quite too sure how they're going to do that yet. But even that, if a company that's been valued at $20 is clear up there to $300 right now, there's got to be a drop somewhere down. If it's going to be a gradually drop or something like that in that particular company, or if this happens again, where you get these guys coming back in trying to short it again too much, I could see it repeating itself. So just something to, like I said, it was. I wish I was recording this a little bit about what I was listening to, and basically I could almost write a book on it as a sideliner, as just a person that was on the side watching this. So, and this isn't just strictly the U.S. I believe there's a lot of people involved that basically it's just gotten tired of, where's my stimulus check? You guys shut down the country. A lot of these kids are probably gamers. Basically, hey, they made some good money. Quite a few of them are going to make some good money out of this. So instead of them waiting for their stimulus checks, they're making their own stimulus checks. So, but the thing I want to also touch on is I want to just touch on a little bit of the silver market. Silver market has been controlled by like J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan just got fined here a while back here of $1 billion, but yet they paid $920 million. They've been suppressing silver with these longs and shorts, like I was talking about. And they've been suppressing silver, and they have acquired basically 50% of the COMEX. People don't know what COMEX means. It's basically it's a metals company, a bullion company that holds it, and that's something like 318 million ounces that they hold. J.P. Morgan holds that, and they just got done raising, and that's just silver. I don't know about gold. That's just silver. Now that's going to raise. I just want to say, people, they just changed a while back here. They changed it from silver and gold being basically a 2-tier or 3-tier, which means lower. They made it into a 1-tier, which means it's an asset class now. Asset class means that's where the wealth is at. So I just want people to just kind of ponder that a little bit, where they're going after all these people that there was no we about it. Individuals making decisions on their own. I mean, get that straight. There's individuals making their decisions on their own, and they're so mad at them that they've been, the hedge fund guys and J.P. Morgan and who knows what else, they've been doing this for years.
Well, okay, we getting kind of long, but I got to ask you this question. So are you saying, I'm not saying you should give advice, but would it make sense to buy silver at this time?
I actually think this is my opinion. I'm not giving advice.
Right.
My opinion is you can buy physical silver, physical gold, have a little bit on the side, but I think the ones that's going to be really affected, I mean, this is going to make, if it's still being manipulated by J.P. Morgan, you got to remember, and because like I said, they just got fined not too long ago. You can look it up.
Right, I got you.
Don't take my... So, but I think that the bigger thing to maybe look at is, you look at some of the precious metal markets. They all took a big hit. I know because I have some silver stock and I have some gold stock. I have some
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you, but I got more calls on the line. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You bet.
All right now. All righty. I have stocks and that. I just kind of not really been in it. I have a lot of stocks. I didn't do the whole GameStop and AMC thing. I probably could have done it. I was watching, shout out to Charles Payne from Fox Business. He was saying that he gives advice, obviously, on stocks and stuff, and he has a newsletter. I need to get on a newsletter, matter of fact, and get some of those stocks that he's talking about. But he said his son bought a house from what's going on right now. A house. 50 grand in his pocket. He put some money on the house. So, I mean, it's not a game. But you know what? When you start messing with money like that, big amounts of money, you're going to have some consequences, whether they be warranted or not. We got to watch this whole thing. I would not touch this whole GameStop and AMC thing right now because I feel like if you're not in right now, then it might be a little bit too late. That's just my humble opinion. I'm not giving advice. I don't know anything about money. If you listen to me, you're going to lose all your money. That's pretty much what it is. But I would not get into it. But some guys got into it and they made out like a fat cat. But it will crash. So if you're going to get into it, the crash is going to be, like I'm talking about crash and burn. It's not going to be very good. 253 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL?
Yes, indeed. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name is Irina. Wow. I'm a first-time caller. This is so cool.
All righty, what's going on?
I'm calling to respond to that guy who kept saying, oh, well, we didn't have the data before. Now we have the data. And I knew that they were going to go with this explanation about when things didn't quite add up. And it's very convenient. However, I completely disagree because very recently they finally admitted that those PCR tests were set to an extremely high amplification. And we've known about this for months, I think probably since the summer. So if we knew about it, they all knew about it too. But they didn't admit it, and now they're saying, oh, well, we're going to adjust the amplification. Well, why didn't you do it in the summertime? Well, that was because the deaths plateaued. So they needed something. They needed some kind of ticker. So they had this case-demic, right, because of these faulty tests. And the vast majority of those cases had absolutely no symptoms at all, and they never got sick at all. But they were still counted as COVID cases because they didn't have as many people dying. So, that's why I don't want to hear that, now they have more data and now they know better. No. I don't believe that for a minute. And now Fauci saying that, mask or double mask, that's him pretty much admitting that this whole time those masks were barely doing anything unless you have some kind of advanced mask, you know?
That's right, exactly. Man, that's a good point. You know, they kept pushing the whole mask thing, but all of a sudden now, wear another mask. Well, if the one mask was enough, then why do we need to wear another one? Like, it's always some kind of new information that comes along that it kind of just validates what they told us previously.
Yeah, that's them very slyly admitting that, these masks weren't really working. Like, because they can't come out and say it, because then, you know, we'd all be like, well, we told you. So they have to do everything pretty slyly. The other thing I want to talk about, again, with this whole they didn't have the data, is, again, just recently, you know, right after the inauguration, they come out and say, HCQ is actually, it actually is effective for COVID. They politicize that whole thing so much that it makes me sick, because the only reason why they politicized it and banned it, like the actual FDA banned it, was all because Trump said it out loud, and he's the one that recommended it. It's not like he invented it, or it's not like it was his idea. Actually, whose idea it was Fauci's, because there's a 2008 article where he writes, where he did an in vitro experiment, which means it was in a petri dish, but he used hydroxychloroquine on SARS, I guess the old SARS, and it worked. So usually the next step would be like animal testing and then so on and so forth. So that idea was originally discovered by Fauci himself. But then Fauci was also on the bandwagon saying HCQ doesn't work. And there was a ton of doctors saying, yes, it does. Like, please listen to us. But that didn't matter because the FDA still banned it as a prescription for COVID. And now they're saying, it turns out it did work. It's like we already knew that. Just like we knew about the PCR test, just like we knew about these other stuff. And then I also remember, because I've been following this like really like hardcore since it all happened, because right away I knew that there was something off. But in March, in the very beginning, when they were ventilating everyone, there was a doctor in New York, Noah Seidel, I believe. He discovered that those ventilators were actually hurting the patients and killing them, because like they didn't need the pressure being pumped into their lungs, because the problem was they weren't absorbing the oxygen. Their lungs were still working. So that also took like months for the doctors to finally all come on board and say, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't ventilate or have it on this high setting. So everything is so politicized that probably more people died than should have. But this whole time they were busy blaming Trump for everything, when they couldn't see their own, like, the way they were hurting people, because everything was just so politicized around this thing. They weren't using their brain. They weren't using science or data. So I don't want to hear about the data.
I hear you. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just one more thing. I don't know if you've talked about this before on the show, but if you go to the CDC website and you go to all the COVID statistics and you look at the conditions that people had, because remember, 96% of them had 2 to 3 conditions, which means only 6% of them had either one condition or no condition. When you look at it, they list all the conditions. And it's not just like, they were obese. It was like extreme heart failure, renal failure, cancer, and of course most of them were above the age expectancy. So these people were already very, very sick. It wasn't just, they were obese and maybe they had diabetes. Like, there was all these other ones. They even counted people who were already on hospice. So, like, if somebody's granddaughter came to visit them at a hospice and she coughed or something, boom, you're a COVID patient, and now you're a COVID death once you die in the hospice, which you were already there to do that. So there's so much deception in the statistics. Like, there's so much evidence of their lies that more people need to know about this. And if you're curious, go on the CDC website and see for yourself. They even counted, so most of those 6% that didn't have 2 to 3 conditions, most of them, because at that time when I was looking at this data, this is a few months ago, I think it was only like 9,200 people were in that 6%. Like 7,500 of those people, they died from accidents from homicide, suicide, but they
Right.
were COVID patients before. So even if they were totally recovered and then they walked out of the hospital and got hit by a bus, boom, that's a COVID death. So, like, can somebody explain to me, like, how that makes any kind of sense? It's like if I recovered from the flu and then got hit by a car, boom, would that count as a flu death? No.
Right.
So there's just so many lies. Like, I don't want to hear about it. So I'm talking to that guy that called you earlier.
Well, I thank you for your
Hey,
call.
that
That was a fantastic call. Thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you so much. Love you.
All right, now appreciate you.
Bye.
Great call. Laid it all out there. So, yeah, Ivan got wrecked. Anybody that wants to go against that, I mean, she laid all the facts right there, right in front of you. All right, let's get to some more. The number to call 434-658-1220. 786 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL. It's me, Kendrick Silverman. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
I'm doing fine. Hey, what are your? I just came right now, just watching your live stream. But I don't know if we talked about this already or not. But what do you think about Chinese experts recommending that people use anal swabs to detect COVID?
Yeah, I saw that. That's totally ridiculous. But I feel like what's happening right now at this point, they're just trying to kind of troll us, making us do things that aren't necessary, just because they want to get some entertainment. That's kind of what I feel like now. I mean, this is just totally ridiculous. And then my thing is, why go on that part of the body if it's respiratory? Shouldn't it be like in your nose and your throat? Shouldn't that be where the virus is?
Yeah, it's basically. Yeah, like the double mask, I also feel like it's going too far, or like unnecessary caution needed to figure out if you have COVID or not. That's how I see it.
Yeah, double mask is just preventing you from being able to breathe more than what the regular mask is. So I feel like when people do stuff like that, they're going to end up cutting their own airway off, and then they're going to have a hard time breathing. So what's the actual purpose of doing that? I don't really know. Again, just try to embarrass people, try to get people to do things that are just kind of crazy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man, and who knows what might Fauci recommend next? Or like you said, I think I watched the video earlier that he might recommend 3 masks or probably a plastic bag over somebody's head.
Put the plastic bag over your ears, nose, your mouth, all of that, your eyes. Put it over everything so you can't get any oxygen in or out. You won't blow out any droplets, but at the same time, you won't be able to breathe. But it's fine because you didn't give anybody the virus.
Yeah, I just find it silly, man. It's dumb, but it is what it is, man. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I just came to the live stream right now. I was busy doing something else, but thank you for answering my call, man.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, peace.
All right, and you guys may have been surprised by what he said about the new Chinese test for the virus. Some of you guys may have just come in here recently and you didn't see what I was talking about earlier. I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. Hold on, let me go to it right quick. And yeah, so China is going to test for the virus in a new and innovative way. And you can see it right there on the screen. China to start using anal swabs to test high-risk people for COVID. If I can put it on the screen. There we go. You see it right there, right in front of you. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's not what I want. I think if really, I don't want to do the nasal swab because they're going all the way back to your brain, digging for memories and hidden thoughts and secrets. I don't want them to go back that far in my nose. You understand? With the swab and the swab, this ain't no Q-tip. This is a Z-tip. The thing is about that big. It's like a stick. They put it all in the back. But anyway, I don't want that. So I definitely don't want this method right here. I'm good. I'm good on that. They can keep that one for China. Have that be their little pastime over there. They do. Don't bring that over here to the States. Whatever you do. Yes way, Jordan. Yes way. Yes, they are doing that in China. But it's China. I mean, that's what they do. Like I said, just don't bring that over here to the States. That's all I ask. Keep it over there in China. That's fine. Because they do stuff like that. I'm not tripping about them. All right, let's go. Mixed Girl POV, what's happening?
Hi, ABL. How's it going?
Everything's good. Can't complain.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. So great live so far. So I just wanted to just two things real quick. So conservative Christian rapper Bryson Gray was on someone's podcast last night. Have you heard of him before?
Yeah, no, that's my friend. I was on his album, matter of fact.
For real?
Yeah, I was on the Uncle Tom song, and at the beginning, I was speaking on it. So, yeah, shout out to Bryson.
That's why. Awesome. And so he was on someone's podcast, and basically he was in the lion's den. Someone was live in it, streaming it, onto his YouTube channel. So, but he was in a lion's den with, a bunch of left-leaning hosts. Now, I believe he was able to hold it down really well and represent, Christian conservative values and principles. So mad props to him for doing that. So Bryson Gray said something that I found very interesting. He said that the two most hated people in America are straight white men and black conservatives. So I wanted to hear what your thoughts were about that. Do you agree with him? And if so, why or why not?
I mean, I've said that before myself. That's all facts. It's correct because if you have, the straight white male, that's seen as like the top person in society. So at that point, it becomes envy and jealousy of the straight white male. And they think that they get all the privilege, all the, it's, the Bill Gates and the Elon Musk. It's envy at the end of the day. So they don't like them. And they feel like they have too much privilege and power in the nation. And then as far as black conservatives, they hate us because they can't use the "you're racist" card to fight against what we say. They can't use it against us. And then we're never scared. We come from the street a lot of times, so we're not really going to be intimidated. And people that come from the community a lot of times are undereducated or uneducated and don't even understand what we got going on. So then the hatred towards us comes from just being uneducated. And like I said, the other people just don't like us because they can't really fight against us. They can't say you're racist. Whatever we say, they got to pretty much take, or they want to try to use big tech to censor us anonymously.
Right. And that actually segues into the next thing. So thank you for sharing your opinion about that. That censorship segues into the next thing. The YouTube people have decided, to come to my channel and start erasing comments from the comment section. And I was wondering if you have experienced, anything like that where they're trying to suppress, your viewers' thoughts and opinions or yours and stuff like that.
Now you're talking about stuff that gets put if you put a video out, not a live stream, but just a regular video you record and then put out, and then in the comments say. So what could be happening is that you have an option turned on where they can filter certain comments. So that could be turned on. You might not realize it, and then they put certain comments in. It say, we're going to moderate it later, back in a little section. But also sometimes YouTube will come in itself and delete certain stuff. That's rare though. But every now and again they'll do that. But generally what they do, they got an automatic filter. But you can turn that off though.
Okay, I'll look into that. Do you know if they've ever come to your channel and have deleted comments from one of your videos?
Every now and again they'll be in the on a live stream. You'll see Google moderation. That's really rare. That's very rare. They do come in there and do that. But for the most part, if comments are removed, it's because there's an automatic filter on to, like quote unquote eliminate spam. But what ends up happening is regular comments get removed too that were not spam.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'll look into that. I hope they're not, trying to. I mean, I know I had multiple comments and I replied to them, and the next thing, one of the viewers was like, "Hey, it says there's comments, but where did the comments go?" And I was like, "What?" And so I'm just like, I hope that they're not trying to, suppress our thoughts, opinions, and feelings. So I just wanted to see if you had experienced anything like that. So, well, thank you so much, ABL, for taking the call and sharing your opinion and your knowledge. Appreciate you.
I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, thanks. You take care and God bless.
All right, God bless.
Thanks.
All right, so shout out to Mixed Girl POV right here on the YouTube. Y'all can go ahead and search it right now. Mixed Girl POV. Yeah, the thing about YouTube, they got different ways that they can moderate. Sometimes if I'm doing a live stream, Google moderation will come in and remove comments. That's rare though. That almost never happens. What happens is if you have a video that's uploaded, that's not a live stream, you can just comment in the comment section. What happens is there's a feature, I think it's automatically clicked. It may or may not automatically click, but it's a feature that will say, if you click it and it says potentially remove harmful comments, if you have that clicked, then certain comments will get put into a folder that you got to manually approve. And it won't show up automatically. That's just what happens. All right. So yeah, shout out to Bryson Gray as well. Let me see. Somebody says YouTube does delete comments. ABL, stop being naive. They remove President Trump videos. That ain't the same thing. We got to just be educated and be smart about what we're saying. That's all. Removing the video is different than removing the comment. And that's different than removing the channel. That's different than demonetizing. That's different than demonetizing is different. You got certain videos that get under-monetized, fully monetized, and then certain videos get demonetized, and then there's the action of a whole channel getting demonetized. Then you get totally suspended. These are all different things. You got to understand the business before you really, you know what I mean? Take it from me, I know, because I do this every day. Not trying to be arrogant. I'm just saying. Sometimes you think that the comment got deleted, but it did not get deleted. If you can go recover it and approve it and put it back on the channel, then it's not deleted. It's just put into a folder where you probably didn't even know where it was at. A lot of people don't even know about that. They don't know that there's a whole folder of comments that you might not even never ever see because you don't go and check it. All right. Well, I mean, that's not censorship if you choose to have that option on. If you choose to have that option on, it's not censorship because that's your decision to potentially remove harmful comments. But if you take that off and no comments they can come back, you can bring the comments back. That's not censorship. Censorship is when you cannot do anything with it, when they just get removed and you have no choice in the matter. That's censorship. You know, if it is censorship, then it's not something that was imposed upon you. It was your choice. All right, let's get to the next one. 804, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Beverly from Virginia. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good. I just wanted to let everybody know that I had uploaded an app for LabCorp. You can go on there and see your test results from different doctors and everything. It's pretty cool. I went to a hand doctor not too long ago who literally, they didn't even take a blood pressure, nothing like that. He just looked at my hand. We talked about a possible impinged nerve, and that was it. It was the end of the appointment. Well, looking on this app and seeing test results, they submitted a test saying that they tested me for COVID. Thank God it was negative, but no test was done, not even a blood pressure. So I didn't see anything submitted to my insurance company, so I don't know if it's the federal government that's doing the kickbacks for the testing or how that's working. Do you know?
Well, I'll tell you this. That's a very good question. Excellent question. I went to this place right close to where I live to get a virus test. And now when I went there, I found out, I can't really say how I found out, but I found out that there's a fund that they can draw from if you don't have insurance to get. So basically, all right, if somebody if they come up there, they don't have insurance, they can call this fund and the fund will give them money for the test. So I don't know how much of that actual money that they need to do the test or whatever the case may be. But if there's a fund that's separate away from the particular hospital, clinic, or whatever it is, that's also not the same thing as the test place. So you got three different places. You got the fund for the test, then the hospital, and then the clinic where the test gets sent off to. Three different places. How does that money go from A to B to C? How much of the first money goes to the hospital and then to the test, and what's left over? That's my question. So I feel like there's a lot of money that's being. And then the thing about it is, if they say, "Hey, we gave her a test," then they can say, "All right, well, check it out. She didn't have insurance. Even if you did, it doesn't matter. She didn't have insurance, so we're going to put in the claim and we're going to get that money." But rather than sending it to the place and taking the piece and take the whole thing, put it in their pocket.
Yeah, because I have two insurances, and I mean, they're good. They're private insurances. They're good insurances. So there was nothing that came through. You know how a little while later you get the statement to see what was billed, what was paid, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Never received anything like that. I never would have known that they submitted anything like this had I not looked on that app to see, recent tests from LabCorp. So it's pretty interesting. But even still, the federal government's paying for it. That means the taxpayers are paying for it. So, yeah, something isn't right.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
This has been going on throughout this whole time. There's been all kind of reports of people getting, doctors getting money or the hospital getting money and tests not really being done. A lot of kickbacks going on. This whole thing has been a really big boom for the scamming industry, just in the regular streets among people, and then also in the hospitals. It's been a mess.
Well, the big thing, what the heck did they test? I mean, they had to submit something to them. So is there like someone in the office they know is negative? Hey, let me swab you and send it in.
It could have been the phone call, because when I was in the place, all they were doing making phone calls to other places. Like I heard a conversation on the phone, so they called a place and then say what's going on, and they probably fill out a form, send it to them, and they get it back with the money. That's probably what goes on. So there's no need to actually, because the place where they get the money from is not where they send the actual lab results to. So they can get the money from a place to get the lab results somewhere else without sending the lab results, because it's disconnected. Right.
But the app that I was on was an actual lab result that didn't have anything to do with like the money part.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Positive or negative.
There could be some scam. Yeah.
But I thank you for your time. Thank you for taking my call, and you have a good one.
I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Like if you get a test result on the app and you didn't even take no test, they could put anything down there. It could be a little kickback with the gap between the place. I've seen that happen before, where it'd be an agreement between one place and the other. They'll say, okay, look, we're going to send you this fake thing. Just put anything on there, say it's negative, and have that be that. Why not? All right, let's go. 919, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL, how you doing?
Everything's good. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm not doing bad. This is Brian in Virginia.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to touch on the transgender ban that got lifted, because it's something that really bothers me. A little bit about my background. I enlisted on the Army in 2003, straight out of high school. Right around the 2005-2006 time frame, something went on with my body, destroyed my pancreas, and I ended up getting type 1 diabetes at 20 years old. So I got to go through the whole medical process of being reviewed, having to take medication to keep myself alive, that sort of thing. And I fought through that to stay in for about 8 years. It was basically like a court trial, trying to convince them that I was still able to do my job, and everything like that. Never got to deploy because that was a whole doctor issue, but I ended up getting medically retired, because it just, Fauci. Obviously needing medication 24/7 just isn't conducive to being out in the middle of Iraq or something like that. So having the transgender ban lifted and enabling people to serve that are going to be requiring medication and, potentially counseling and things like that the entire time they're in is kind of irksome, because I wasn't happy about leaving. I love being in the military, but obviously I understand why, I wasn't a fit anymore. But seeing that now it's okay for people to have, a condition that requires them to need medication like that all the time, it kind of feels like a slap in the face of, you know, a lot of people who wanted to serve their country, but medically weren't capable.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And that was the whole thing. That was the reason why the ban was there in the first place, because of medical reasons. It's like, okay, if you have gender dysphoria, that right there, that's a medical condition. There's a mental illness. And then on top of that, if you have a sex change, that's also going to be a physical condition and medical. You're going to have all kind of problems, medication, rehabbing from the actual sex change. That's going to be a big problem. And that's what I was saying on the video. It was like, there's a lot of different things that can end your military career. Diabetes potentially could end your career. Eyesight possibly. There's a lot of different things. It's not even about being anti-LGBT. It's about military preparedness. And like you said, it's not fair to those that had to fight to prove that they were able to be in the military with an actual real condition that they had no control over, versus someone electing to get what is basically cosmetic surgery. So yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, the whole process of just being medically ready to deploy, I mean, it's insane. I mean, even if you haven't had a dental checkup in a year, I mean, it red flags you. You cannot deploy until you go get your teeth cleaned. It can be stuff as simple as that can affect readiness. I mean, it's, you know, kind of stupid in a way, but I mean, you got to make sure everybody's healthy before they go. And having a service-related condition, you know, I've got to deal with that fun government corporation of the VA. And, you know, I know that the conditions I have are something that happened while I was in. So I understand being entitled to care and everything like that, but it's, you know, going in, having the surgery, permanently needing medication. I mean, on one hand, I would feel bad if, you know, after their term of service is over, you're out on your own, you're not getting any support for medication. But on the other hand, that was a personal choice, and taxpayers should not be paying money to support your personal choice. It's the same thing with welfare and a lot of other things. The taxpayer shouldn't be supporting people for their own personal bad choices that they make, and that's kind of why I'm upset about it.
100%, absolutely.
Anyway, I appreciate the show, and I'm glad I got a chance to call in again.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, take it easy.
All right, great call. Exactly what I'm saying. It's like the military, you can't really play around. You know, there's standards, and you got to adhere to the standards, and you shouldn't be giving special treatment and lowering the standards or ignoring the standards for certain quote unquote protected groups. Just because somebody's LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, E, F, G does not mean that they should just, you know, overlook this whole thing about, oh, you got a whole sex change and you're going to need medication for the rest of your life. But hey, you're military ready and it's all good. And we're not worried about how much money we got to spend, how much sex change costs, and the therapy and the medication. We're not worried about that because you're LGBT. That's not fair. Regardless, I don't care if you're gay, straight. Let's have everybody be on the same standard. That's it. If you want true equality, don't have equality only exist when you want it to exist. Have it exist all the time. All right. Same thing with the physical tests and whatnot, but that's a different story, and I digress. Let's get to the next call. All right, calling on line 917. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes, 917. Who am I speaking to?
Yes. Good day. This is Hans-Dieter Mund speaking. How are you?
I'm all right. How about yourself? Before we go on, I got an echo in the background. Do you have me on speaker?
No, I do not. I'm. Hold on.
Are you watching the TV or on YouTube?
No. Well, I can't watch it while I'm on the phone. So.
All right.
Let me move away from there. Is this better?
All right. Go ahead.
Is this any better?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Okay. So, first of all, I'm calling from Leipzig, Germany. So just to let you know that you reach all the way on this side of the pond.
All right. Good to hear it. Excellent.
Anyway, I watch you and your buddies, the other guy, Mr. Tatum, the Officer Tatum, and Mr. Green.
Yes.
He's a pretty cool guy. Anyway, let me get to the point. First of all, the gentleman that called about Mr. Fauci is a politician, and nothing that he says should be construed as the truth because he has a political agenda. And that young lady that was just on here was spot on. So enough time on him. The thing that I think that should be taken from these young people at Reddit, okay, is I think the people that support, let's say, a normal agenda, not just Trump, but Trump and the normal agenda, should organize themselves the way that these young people did against these hedge funds. In other words, you have around 74 million people that voted for President Trump. So, as you noticed, when anybody does anything from the conservative side in which they criticize somebody or they're not fully on board with some of these insane ideas, the mob comes after them. So what I suggest that somebody needs to organize like these young people on Reddit and target a bank, an insurance company, a credit card, and have the 75 million people who voted for the president boycott them. And it is the only way that you're going to get your voice heard.
See, that right there, I like. That's an actual, a real protest, one that actually have consequence, not just, behaving erratically and not using the brain. Have something coordinated, have something that's legal, have something that will make a difference.
Make them feel it.
Yes,
so
correct.
For example, if you recall, I believe it was last summer, when I think it was the Goodyear Tire Company that had some internal politics about which, what type of things you can wear at the company, and it was okay to wear certain types of hats or T-shirts or whatever it is promoting a certain agenda. But if you came to work with a MAGA hat or something like that, you were banned and you were not allowed to have it.
Right.
And
correct.
Then when President Trump said something about that, everybody jumped all over him. Well, get 74 million people who voted for the president and said, we're not going to buy Goodyear tires anymore. Have a nice day. And I guarantee you, if you take one company, just take one company. For example, take a bank and say, okay, whoever this bank is promoting and is getting into politics instead of being a bank, and it's going against our interests, it's hurting us. So here's the deal. We 74 people, Americans who voted for this, have our right to have our voice, and we're not villains because we have a different opinion than you are. And go and everybody withdraw every single account, every deposit that you have or whatever you have, and take it out of that bank. And as soon as that starts happening, people will start to notice. Until then, I think you and all of your colleagues that are having these shows are doing a great job, but it's the first step. You're keeping people aware and everything like that, but it's the first step. You've got to take the second step where there's a real action, where these people feel it. And I'll give you one last example because I don't want to take up time from some of your other callers. During this whole thing last year, there was a woman who was living in Chicago. She was the wife of a major league soccer player. She happened to be from Serbia. And she was communicating with some of her friends who were also Serbian, okay? And she made some negative comments about Black Lives Matter, all right? Her husband played, I believe, on one of the Los Angeles professional soccer clubs. Okay, within hours, there were people at the stadium in front of the offices of the soccer team demanding that soccer player be fired. Now that's real organization. That is real organization. And until this conservative side takes a look at that and understands that they need to organize as well. Just think about it. The woman, his wife is in Chicago. She is discussing on Facebook with her other friends, it's their personal opinion. She has a negative opinion about Black Lives Matter. And these people make the soccer club in L.A. fire her husband.
That's how it works. Right away. I'm sorry, I got to cut you off right here. I got a few more calls on the line, but thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Take care.
All right, now. Yeah, so the moral of the story is if you want to see change, if you want to see things actually happen, you got to make some moves. You got to make some decisions, some legal stuff. Don't just go out there and just, what would the cool kids say, wild out. Don't just go out there and destroy stuff like the left does, try and raise money for Black Lives Matter. Don't do that. Go out there and do some real things. Like what's going on with this whole GameStop kerfuffle. All right, let's get to some more here. And let's do, all right. 345, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, wow. Hey, thank you for taking my call, ABL.
No problem, man. What's going on?
Yeah, nothing much. So I identify sort of as a libertarian, right? So my military views are very different to one of your previous callers in general. Okay. So my personal opinion is that, look, I think if they're willing to serve the country, well, first of all, I don't like military spending as a whole, unfortunately, but that's a whole other issue. If they're willing to serve the country, why would you restrict them if it was, in their head? That's just I'm not really educated on it.
Okay, well, if you don't like military spending, then you should be in favor of what the previous caller was saying, because when you're talking about somebody that has gender dysphoria, they don't really know, what their proper gender is, the main way they treat it in the military, what they really want is a sex change. I'm not sure how much a sex change costs, but I'm sure it's not a cheap operation. And then beyond that, it's also a mental disorder. So you're going to have a therapist possibly assigned to them. Then you're going to have medication, possibly for the sex change, and then also medication for the mental illness. So this is going to be a continuous thing. There's going to be a lot of money dumped into them, a lot of time dumped into them. And then also, where do you house them? Is there a special unit for them? Are they housed with the men? Are they housed with the women? There could be liabilities there, because if you house them with the women, there can be some predator action going on. Maybe even with the men, there can be some things going on. So it's just, it creates more of an expense. So just from a financial point of view, just from a money point of view, it's not a good option to do. And then multiply that particular one person, that one example, by many. It's going to be a problem financially if you're worried about spending.
Yeah, I see your point. That's pretty spot on, actually. I guess I sort of took a sort of, simpleton view of it. What's your sort of general opinion of libertarians? Because I know a lot of conservatives who, think they're great when it comes to, election season, but generally I was on a group chat with them, and one conservative sort of joined the group chat, and it just like war broke out. So as a conservative, what's your general view on them?
Libertarians that I know personally are pretty cool people. They're nice people. I mean, I don't have any issues with libertarians personally as people, but I think politically, a lot of them just kind of ride the fence. They're kind of just like right in the middle, and they don't take one position over the other from what I've been able to see. Now, some guys aren't really like that. You got guys like Rand Paul. I like Rand Paul a lot, and he's a libertarian, and he has specific views that he holds to, and he's steadfast on it. Some guys aren't like Rand Paul. They just say they're libertarian, but don't really have those libertarian
like
views.
Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson, I don't know. Gary Johnson is just kind of a strange person. I don't know what's going on with him.
Like you.
I call him Scary Gary because he was running for president. He was sticking his tongue out. I was like, sir, what are you doing? Rand Paul I like. Gary Johnson, not so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking my call and educating me a bit.
No problem, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's a great call. I like that. Open to hear different point of view, and we can just get along. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, obviously great. Gary Johnson, I don't know what's going on with him. But you know what? Honestly, Gary Johnson is so distracting by his antics. His politics are kind of getting just left. And then also when Gary Johnson ran, he ran with Bill Weld, who's the biggest CFR neocon in the world. Not the biggest, but one of the biggest. You might as well have Dick Cheney up there running with you. So it's like, is that libertarian? You got some guys that claim to be libertarian that aren't, and some guys that are, and they really uphold the values. You know, so that's all. I think that it's good to have a libertarian wing within the conservative movement. People that are for constitution and low spending, which should be what conservatives are about. Yeah, so it's just kind of, it's different. There's different kinds of libertarians that I've come across. All right, let's go. All right, call you on line. I'm speaking to 917.
You know.
Yes, 917. Can you hear me?
Yes. ABL?
Yes, indeed. What's going on?
Yes, how you doing, man?
Everything's all right?
I was writing a comment. I know you live in Tennessee.
Yes. Hello? Are you there? Go ahead.
I was trying to get your... Yeah, you hear me?
I hear you. Go ahead.
ABL?
I'm live on the air.
I was trying to get your opinion of Elvis Presley, if you're a fan of him or not.
I don't know much about him.
Oh, you don't know much about him?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Elvis. Oh, he's been since I'm a kid.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a first-time caller. I'm so glad you took my call.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely
a little
appreciate
nervous.
It. Oh, it's all right, man.
No, but what you were talking about with Fauci and everything with the two masks. It's been politicized. It's horrible. What people dying, like you were talking about, it's absolutely horrible. What's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. But this is what they've been doing the whole time, politicizing it, using it for their own purposes. It's wild.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. I seen it coming. I saw what they were doing. I believe Trump is the greatest thing to happen in a very long time. I've been a conservative for 19 years. It's been very hard to be a conservative. You know? A very hard thing to be a conservative. When Bush was in office, Bush 43, it was just a nightmare. I felt he was a nightmare. I don't know how you feel about Bush 43, but...
No different than Bill Clinton and Barack Obama.
Yeah, basically no different at all, yeah.
That's right.
I agree. Yeah, well that's all I got to say, really. Thanks for taking my call, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man.
You're great,
Definitely.
by the way. You're great, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely great.
All right, now,
All
take
right.
care.
Thanks, buddy.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to some more here. Let's go. 708, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, hi, ABL. I'm so glad that you took my call. I wanted to talk about this transgender agenda thing. Everybody's talking about the military and everything, but I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. And the reason I'm saying this is because they are really pushing this stuff at kids, at children. And I'm a teacher, and I have never in my life ever seen the way that this is getting pushed on little kids. It used to be that you would go and you would register your kid at the school, and you would say, you know, it would be like male, female. About 3 years ago, they changed it, and now it's like it'll be like, what is the child's self-defined gender? And we have kids coming in there as young as 5, 6 years old, and they want the kid to say, oh, whether you're a boy or a girl. And most of the little kids are just laughing at this, like their parents are being forced to ask them, and they'll be like, come on, Mom, I'm a boy, don't you know, But when they get older, what the agenda that's being pushed is, like, by the time they hit adolescence, they're going through more trauma and stuff. And especially right now, like it's really being pushed on girls to want to become boys. And this concerns me because I think that what's going to happen is they want to cripple the reproductive systems of these generations. It would only take them like 2 generations to do this. And I believe that the end game, I think they want to stop heterosexual reproduction. That's what I think. And why would they want to do that? So that they can raise kids, they can have like test tube babies or only like certain people that are going to be having kids, and then they can, raise kids for the state. Like, in other words, to just be loyal to the state, loyal to these leftist things. It's like in so many different ways they're pushing this stuff, and the military is just one aspect of it. Everybody that's called in tonight would agree that this is just totally ridiculous. I mean, you don't want to have like all this money to take taxpayers' money and everything that's supposed to be going to make our military strong and having sex change operations, but why would they be doing that? I mean, they are just pushing and pushing and pushing, and at the same time they're trying to break up the nuclear family, and that like all these movements, the Marxist agenda, that's what they want to do. And I just think, there's not enough people talking about this. You have to like look at their end game. And I just think this is a really, really scary thing. And we have to, now, like if teachers, where I live, teachers are questioning this, teachers are losing their jobs just for questioning, and they're trying to put all these little kids on hormones. And it's just a really, really dangerous thing. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that and, people that kind of have a voice. And I want to say I love your show. I listen to it every day. And it's just this world is, it makes me so depressed, like what's going on. And I, really want to keep up my morale. And I listen to you every day, and I just think you're fantastic. And that's all I have.
Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, great call. We got a few more on the line. Let's get to the next one. Let's go 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill.
What's happening?
Wow, this is Andrew. First off, you were pretty much hard to get a hold of tonight.
Hey, man, it's a lot going on, but go ahead.
Well, two things. One, did you hear about Biden's speech today and how it was pretty much similar to what Trump was saying all these years?
Well, no, I didn't hear it, but what I have been hearing is that he's been speaking about a lot of, American made, a lot of the same things Trump was saying during this campaign and also during the presidency. He's saying.
Yeah, and pretty much you do know the hypocrisy and the double entendre racism what Biden's been implying there while they're shifting the entire blame on it towards Trump. I do have one important question for you in the chat. Does anybody remember the exact year when NAFTA happened?
When
North American Free Trade Agreement?
When NAFTA? No, I don't know when that happened.
Yeah, I don't remember the date either or the year, but I do know it happened between Bush and Obama's years in office. So I really don't see how Biden has the leg to kind of stand on to kind of blame Trump for shifting the jobs overseas in the first place for cheap labor when it was the same exact Democrat party that did that.
Right, exactly.
And I do think that you should talk about Texas a little bit more because every single patriot and conservative is talking deeply about how much Texas is carrying the back for us and might be succeeding from the United States pretty soon.
Right.
And have you heard about this one California guy who left Texas because, in his words, couldn't stand it anymore? So I guess the little soy boy couldn't handle the Texas beefsteak so much.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious to me. But I mean, I'm not surprised because a lot of the guys from California, they go to Austin because it's like a California enclave. They don't really want to go to Texas. They want to go to a cheaper version of California.
Yeah, well, I like myself some good steak too, and I know I wouldn't be able to handle a whole Texas one, but do you like some A1 with it?
Oh yeah, get some A1. You get to go.
I do think that California should leave the United States because they have too much of a negative influence on our society. And nothing personal against gays, but do you think even gay conservatives on our side know full well that a lot of this transgender stuff is kind of started by some of these sentimental people in their subcommunities to press it onto the youth thanks to the feminist movement.
I think that California would want to secede from us before Texas would actually be able to, because California or California will break up. California probably will break up first because there's so much division in between the cities and the not city areas that might cause a division internally before Texas would secede from the U.S.
And keep in mind that California did create a petition like other states to remove their governor, but Change.org removed the petition because in their words was going to incite violence.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So, I think what's happening here, just to touch on that, I think what's happening, a lot of these big companies, big websites that want to act politically, they're going to be gone because you're going to have more people go to more underground places or new places where that kind of behavior just does not happen. So,
Twitter needs to kind of go pretty soon because they're the ones that kind of started all this Antifa nonsense in the first place.
Yeah.
And I was kind of finish this one up, but you're familiar with South Park, though.
Yeah.
I actually do think Joe Biden is exactly like Callie from South Park. If you actually kind of match up his words, like this one. Want to get high? If you don't smoke this crack, then you ain't black. Oh, man. And I do think you should put this on one of your shirts. Says like #cheater-in-chief, or we finally got the dope boy in office.
Yeah, I got dope boy in office. That's a funny one.
Yeah, because Biden is exactly like Callie, and I really hope South Park actually makes fun of that because that's kind of spot on comedy right in of itself.
Hey, that'd be something, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
I know. All righty. Shout out to the caller. We got a few more on the line. I'm gonna get to those right quick. So y'all hang tight. Let's do. All right, hold on. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, this is Jonathan.
All right, man, what's going on?
Not much, man. First time caller. Glad to take my call. I kind of want to just get your opinion of two things. The first one is all these old politicians and stuff. They're trying to do a lot of these like long-term things for the younger generations. A lot of these things are so crazy. And second thing is the younger generation, they seem to be getting pushed further and further away from politics and kind of just going with whatever happens, but then getting outraged when something they don't like happens. And I was wondering what you think about those two things.
Okay, I kind of lost your question a little bit. Can you give me something more specific so I can answer right quick?
Well, like the old, like these people like Schumer and Pelosi and them, you know, they're making all these policies and stuff, but it's I'm kind of trying to run it together. So I kind of got confusing, but there's not a lot of like younger people getting into politics lately that I've been noticing. And I feel like these older people that are in politics, they're just trying to like drive the younger people away so they can keep controlling everything.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going on because you have career politicians, so they want to keep their job forever. And then also there's a concerted effort to maintain power in a certain kind of way. See, it's not enough to have the Democrats be in power, because Democrats could be in power and it could be the AOCs of the world that run the show, but they don't want that to happen. See, they have a view of the nation and of the world that they think is contingent upon them behaving in a certain kind of way. This is the reason why Joe Biden can go up there and just sign papers all day, because this has all been done, all been written, all been prepared by a lot of people from all over the world, not just the United States. So they got a plan that people who don't know about politics, amateurs, newbies, young bloods, don't know about. So they don't keep him out of there. If you want to play ball and get down with the team like Eric Swalwell, then it's fine. You can be with a Chinese spy and all of that. It puts you in the Senate Intel Committee. That's as a middle finger to the right. We can do whatever we want to do. That's how they operate. And anybody that's new or wants to kind of, get in the way has got to go. That's how they operate. That's why both sides of the aisle, to a certain extent, wanted to get Trump out of the way, because he was not going to play ball. That's how that goes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because, I didn't really get into politics, to be honest with you, until they impeached Trump the first time. That's what kind of drove me into learning more about politics. And then once I started seeing that, I'm like, all these old people are making all this stuff, and they're not even going to be around once it's in effect. And, I was just thinking that the younger generation, because I'm 22, relatively young, I'd say. But, I think people more my age need to start, getting into politics and stuff, so that way we can properly run this country, because all these old, demented, slurring old politicians aren't getting it done.
That's right. I'm with you.
That was pretty much all I had to say.
Well, thank you for the call, man.
My call, though.
No problem, man. Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All righty. Shout out to the caller. Someone said they can't get on. They pay my phone bill. No, I didn't pay the phone bill. I was on the phone. I don't know how I was on the phone, man. The bill didn't get paid, though. It must have been the grace of God that I was on the phone without paying the phone bill. If you can't get through, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man. You just got to keep on trying, and you'll be able to get through as soon as you're able to. The number to call, by the way, great segue, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I got time for a couple more calls, and then wrapping it up, put the ball on the top. Let's go. 618, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is your friend Shane. How's it going?
Everything was all right, man. What's happening?
You've had a great show tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, the last 30 or 45 minutes of callers, things have gotten pretty deep. And we got a couple different themes going on here. Originally, I was just going to call and talk about the amazing GameStop, bonanza that happened. I was tracking it all day, too. I thought it was really interesting. And then you had a caller talk about that. So I'm like, all right, cool. We can do something else. Then you had the gentleman from the Army call, talk about how difficult it is to train with people who aren't battle ready. And it got me thinking about how we've been focusing so much on getting Trump into office or getting the right person into this position or that for 4 years. And in your case, I think 6 years, maybe plus. And then this puppet, he gets implanted into the White House. I call it occupying the White House. You don't have to, but that's what I call it. And in one fell swoop, he nullifies a major part of what we supported the previous president for actually doing, why we wanted him to be there, so he could try and at least put the brakes on the insanity. And it's making me wonder, what do we expect to happen after our guy leaves? And how can we share a republic with people who believe that a woman is a man and are going to vote accordingly? I don't see that as being a solution. You can debate me on that right now, but I wanted to synthesize a couple of the different things going on with the calls tonight. And the guy after that I heard, he made a great point, which is that we have to divest from the dollar. We have to take our money out of these banks to financially punish them, because what happened today with GameStop and to a lesser extent AMC, That was an example of sending kind of a political message, and we can make it more explicit in the future using the stock market. Because if you think about it, the reason our nation's economy is being taken over by globalists is because transnational interests, and especially communist groups like the Chinese, what they've been doing for the last 20, 30 years is they're not fighting capitalism, they're using capitalism against us. And for me, that was my takeaway from what happened today with GameStop, is that we as the citizenry, we're using the system that was bequeathed to us from our forefathers to send a message to the tyrants who are trying to take it away from us and take that freedom away from us. So instead of debating with you about whether voting is a good idea, I wanted to be a little more productive, and I want to suggest that maybe I can provide an alternative, that the solution is not in the voting within the government, but in voting with our dollars, that the market is the answer, and that using this pure distilled form of capitalism that is entering something like the stock market, just, you don't have to be approved by Twitter to be on the stock market, do you?
Nah, but see, here's my question. How would that impact politics?
Because where do these politicians who are corrupt get their money from?
All of Wall Street.
Right. And who holds sway over Wall Street?
What? I don't know. The banks?
Yeah, banks, the giant, the same transnational corporations we're talking about that influence these politicians to do their bidding instead of ours, right?
Okay, but you got to get down to the point, though. Like, how would that affect politics? Because here's the question. All right, we didn't beat a hedge fund up, took a bunch of money from GameStop, that short stock or whatever, then they got to get bailed out or whatever. Okay, whatever. How's that going to affect politics? Like, what is that going to do politically? How are we going to get anybody in office on the back of that, or out of office on the back of that? I don't understand.
So, okay, so your other caller was talking about the banks, right? You mentioned the banks. I'll take it a step further in answering your question than what he said. You don't just withdraw your money from the banks. You have to financially punish them, because here's the thing. The system is going to collapse. All right, newsflash, the dollar is unsustainable. The dollar is a debt-based monetary system. You know that. I know you know that already. Okay, so instead of just waiting for it to happen to us, we have to take the wheel and we have to initiate a controlled collapse where we profit. How do we profit in that scenario? You don't just take your money out of the bank. You leave $1 or $5 in your checking account. You wait till they charge you the $18 a month fee or whatever it is. You don't pay that fee. You let it go into overdraft. You leave that overdraft. So what you've just done is you've taken something that was an asset to the bank, which was your money in there, and you turn it into liability. And you multiply $35, several times over as an overdraft fee. You multiply that by, 50 million people. It doesn't even to be that much. You're going to put those banks into the red. Then they're going to go ask the government for help, and they're going to want the tax money. And the government's already pulling this money out of nowhere, but they can't do that. Why? Because you've divested yourself from the American dollar, put it into Bitcoin, put it into not just one thing, but multiple alternative forms of currency. So they can't tax you. So they can't get the money to then bail out these corporations. And then they're not in control anymore. And we take that money that we got back from these thieves and we invest it in gold, we invest it in guns, we invested in ammunition, and we use our credit cards to pay for as much of it as we can too. And we never pay them back because they've been using the Federal Reserve System to steal from us since 1913. And this is the only way that we can put a stop to it, by saying no.
Okay, so how do we get anybody in office like that?
Getting people into office isn't the solution. And I
So
think that's
so are we not going to have any? So are we going to have no government? Is that where you getting at? Like anarchy?
No.
So wait a minute. So
wait.
wait. Because you're talking for a long time. I'm gonna just ask you a few questions. So if we're not trying to get anybody in office, and voting is not the solution, it's not the answer, then how are we going to have anybody in government? If we're not going to, I don't get it. How are we going to have a government?
I think the disconnect here is that I've realized fully, and I'm not sure you've realized fully yet, that it doesn't matter who we get into the office.
No, but you're not. Okay. I got your point. I got your point. We got it. I got it. I understand. But if the whole point was, okay, this is how we're not worried about voting. This is how we really get our way. Okay. Are we going to have a government or no? That's my question. What you're saying, I heard you, but are we going to have government?
I think we can. And
okay, so all right, so the answer is yes. So the answer is maybe we can if we do have government. Wait, caller, listen. You got to listen to me now. Yeah. You talk for a long time. Let you talk. Let me I'll take control now. So we could have government. So if voting is not the answer, and this whole thing we're doing with the divesting of the dollar is not going to get anybody in office, how do we have an election if you're not even believing in the voting or your method getting anybody in the office or out of office? How do we have government?
So because the government that we want, right? How do we get the government we want?
Yes.
Because I understand what you're asking. Over the last year, we've seen how cowardly all of these politicians are, and how the thing that
we got to shorten it up. We got to get to the meat and potatoes.
They cower to the mob. Sure, they cower to the mob, and they answer to the dollar. So we have to become the mob who's in control of the money, and that's how we use that against them. We have to become the mob.
I don't understand. How does that get anybody in office?
Because all they care about is getting paid.
Who is
and
they?
Not getting offended.
Who is they?
So these politicians who are in office and who are corrupt. So they only answer to the dollar or the mob, right? They don't answer to what's good for America.
I think that you have one part of your plan very well thought out, but not the other part. Because you're good up until you get to the point we're talking about voting, then you hit a brick wall. Because if you're not worried about voting at all, and that's not a solution anymore, and you've lost faith in that, and then you're not really sure how you're going to get a government elected if you don't have any faith in voting, then you've hit a brick wall right there. What you're talking about is just talking about these institutions and the banks and whatnot, letting them hear our voice as far as those that are already in office. But if the issue is those that are in office that are corrupt, then this whole thing you're doing won't make a difference because it's still going to be corrupt. And if we're not worried about voting, they could just be in there doing whatever you want to do. And whatever you're doing might make some difference. But the ultimate goal is to get the corrupt people out of office. And if voting is not the answer.
How do you do that when half the population keeps voting for them?
Well, I mean, what you're saying is not going to help either because you're not talking about voting at all. You're not talking about. You're not saying.
I am.
I mean, okay. I've asked you. Sir, listen. I've asked you repeatedly. Yeah. How do we get anybody in of office or out of office in your way? And you hit a brick wall. There's like no, they're there. You just I don't really know.
We have to stop sharing a republic with the people who are antithetical to our belief system, and the only way to do that is through separation. And I said that spent a very small time on that at the beginning.
Separation. We mean by that. Like, what does that mean? Separation.
The populations of America that aren't ideologically compatible cannot continue to cohabitate a Republican system of government. It's not sustainable.
So does that mean anarchy? Like I asked you earlier.
I don't know.
Ask you, like,
is that what we have right now?
Let's stop playing games. Either you're going to have government or not. If you don't have government, that is called anarchy. Are we going to have anarchy? Yes or no?
We're going to have anarchy first and fascism later.
So why you ain't just say that when I asked you the question? Why lie? Come on, man. Like, I knew where you were getting at. Just give me the answer. He hung up. It's like, come on, man. Like, this, who you talking to? Listen, either we're going to have government or not. I took him at his word. I was like, okay, are we going to have anarchy? Oh, no. All right, well, how we going to have government if ain't no voting? Use your brain. How we going to get anybody in office? All right, anarchy and then fascism, exactly. Come on, man. Like, people saying, let them talk. I know exactly what I'm talking about. That man talked for about 8 minutes straight. That man talked like he was giving his manifesto. I let him talk and get his ideas out. I gave him plenty of time. I gave him the floor. Like, here, the floor is yours. You know, here's microphone, my Deer Park water, no ad. Take that. And he ran into a brick wall because he wasn't honest. See, in a debate, you got to be honest. When I asked him, hey, do you want anarchy? You should have said yes. I can respect that. I don't think that's a good thing to do. But I can respect that. Don't lie and say you don't want it when you do. I mean, listen, let's just have a debate and be honest. But I know Shane called before. I like Shane, though. Shout out to Shane. All right. That's actually no more time. The time, hey, he was on. My man, listen, he was on for 10 minutes. I keep my calls to generally a lot less than that. I won't say the exact number, but I keep my calls a lot less than that. 10 minutes. All right. Thank you all for the calls. Definitely appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. All right. I was not being rude. I was just having a debate, but we got to be honest. If I ask you a question and you lie to me on air, that's not my fault. Don't tell lies. Just tell the truth. Okay? If you would have said, when I asked him about anarchy, if you would have said that, I'm like, okay, then how do we operate under anarchy? How do we have that? How do we have police and how do we have safety and how do we do that type of thing? I would ask him about society under anarchy. But since he didn't talk about that, we did ring around the rosy for 5 minutes because he wasn't being honest. And he had to keep just talking in circles. All right. So that's all I got for tonight for the calls. Thank y'all for being here. I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick, and then I'm going to get on up out of here. All right. Let's go back to where I was. Shout out to Butt versus Windshield, who says, at this point, I really do just want to get it. I just want to get the virus. I think it would be safer than all of what comes out of the south end of a northbound bull. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Readiness, who says, Chris Cuomo testing Don Lemon every night. Hilarious. Shout out to my man AM1, who says ABL 2024 gets my vote. I appreciate you for that one. I read that one earlier, but thank you. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Howard says, he just didn't answer correctly, so you had to yeet. Shout out to my man, Boom, 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 Howard. Thank you to Bear Bait, who says, I don't even know what I'm signing, Joe Biden. 37 notice now, and they say Trump was a tyrant. Exactly. Thank you to Lee, who says, please let the people know that fixing voting irregularities, quote unquote, is secondary to choosing or reprimanding the judges. We wouldn't be here if they did their jobs. Let's go to work. Okay, I read that one. Let me see. Okay, shout out to Mike, who says the president still has a legal course of action. It's called the Quo Warranto. Check it out. It's legit and it's been used. Thank you to WWG1 WGA for becoming a member of the ABL community as an ABL supporter. And shout out, he's a recurring second month. Thank you, man. And shout out to Veronica for becoming a member of the ABL supporter team. Thank you to Rick the Election, who says Section 230 cuts competition by small companies. They should put a 20% tax on Fortune 500 companies making most of their money off of viral posts. Hey, that's interesting. I like how you did that one. And shout out to my man, Citizen Shane. That's him right there, Super Chat. And he says, I did it again. Last call tonight. Thanks, ABL. Anarchy today, fascism tomorrow. That was him. Thank you for the call, man. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Shout out to Frank, who says, kudos to Brian Stell, Republican, Scott Fitzgerald, Republican, Glenn Grothman, Tom Tiffany, and Mike Gallagher are Republicans for going against the closer of the Keystone, was that 10,000 jobs lost in a minute? Thank you to John Medeski, who says, so what can Biden do that Trump didn't against the virus? Good question. Butt versus Windshield says the systemic doesn't matter. People with basic cold symptoms could have the virus. Fauci knew all of this 20 years ago. That has never changed. There you go. Thank you for that. Mixed Girl POV, thank you for your donation, says, thanks for sharing your thoughts during my call. Blessings to you and your wife. God bless. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Bob for your donation. Shout out to John Medeski, who says, how is it possible to protect someone from a virus? Trump should have locked us up like China. Tasha says, GOP Senators Mitt Romney, Ben Sass, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Pat Toomey voted with Democrats to impeach. Yeah, you got to get them out of here. Thank you for your donation. Bob, thank you for your donation again. Thank you to Human Filth for your donation. That's the real name. I didn't make it up. John says, congrats to China and Ivan, you won. Thank you to Gary Hughes Investigates, who says, keep on trucking. Will do. Thank you for that. Thank you to Red Sings the Blues, who says, bought GameStop GME 2 weeks ago. Today, made more than 200. Had to sell today. It was best investment I made. Hey, man, I'm glad you got in and got some money, so I appreciate your donation. Thank you to Ryan, who says, ABO for President of Texas 2021. Thank you to ODV, who says, keep it up with the workout emoji. Thank you for that. Shout out to Ty Nicholas, who says, if our water droplets from breathing are so infectious, why won't math swap work for testing. So ridiculous. More cash grabs making new tests. Exactly. Probably mouth swap. Thank you to Matthew, who says, shout out to the liberals in the chat, eager for the Rona backdoor test. Your comrades from Jacobin and countries worldwide salute you. Buck versus Windshield says, how many blue-collar workers who out there who work over 25 years and have had more than $5 raise over the last 12 years? Middle class is out. Barry On, let me go back to where I was. Barry On says, I'm a libertarian leaning. It never took off in elections, and there are a lot of socialists calling themselves libertarians now. Exactly. There's a lot of that going on. People that are just leftists or socialists saying that they're libertarian, but not, obviously. Thank you to Matthew, who says, Jason Whitlock on Timcast IRL tonight was great. Jason is now Tennessean. He moved to Nashville. Hey, shout out to Jason Whitlock coming to Nashville. But my hope is that Nashville does not become Austin. All right. Justice Smith says, all lives matter, but don't want to wear the mask. Well, whose life is included in the all, sir? Me. And if I got a mask on, I'm breathing in all my stuff and the schmitz and all this and that. That might cause me to have health problems. So before anyone else's health is a concern, how about I protect my own health? Maybe. Thank you to Matthew, who says, if all else fails, blame the white man. Mandatory care, thank you for your donation. Buffers Windshield says, insurance owns the banks. Banks must pay insurance. They are hand in hand. There you go. Government uses laws to control the people. Business gains favor from government, but government does not control business. E-cartels is a difference. And shout out to Chad, who says, for the people at 2021, look it up. And thank you to Leo Mazzina for your donation. All right. That is everybody I got right there. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. I'll be back again live on Saturday, but I'll be back tomorrow with just regular pre-recorded videos all throughout the day. And I'm going to do this thing that I've not announced officially, but I guess I'm going to do it right here. It's not a real big announcement, but it is big to me. I'm going to do Ask ABL. I have a channel, and it should be on my my channel section of my page, my YouTube page. And there's no subs, with subs on it, but there's no videos on it. And what it was before was ABL Live. But what I'm going to do is make that be Ask ABL. And you can subscribe to that right here. And what that's going to be is I'm going to do Instagram Lives. And from those, I'll put some videos on there if you guys asking me questions about whatever's going on. It could be life stuff, whatever it is. Shout out to the young man I gave some advice to about college, and you got liberal crazy professors and what you can do with your degree if you already got one, and how to do with money. So I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be on my Instagram. I'll do the live show, and the videos will be uploaded to that particular channel right there. So go ahead and subscribe to the Ask ABL. Subscribe right now so you can already be ahead of the curve, and then go to my Instagram page. And if you got Instagram, follow me there too. Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. I'll be doing random live streams. I'm gonna try to pick some days. I'll get back to you on the days, but I'll be doing streams where I just do Q&As, and some of the clips from the Q&As will go up on the other YouTube page. So that'll be what I'm doing pretty soon here. And I'll put an announcement on the community tab of the YouTube channel, so you guys have all the information right there. So subscribe to the new YouTube channel, or the one that's been there for a while with no content, called Ask ABL. And also follow me on Instagram, where I'll do my live streams talking to you guys in video. It's cool because the way this is right here, you guys can't see me while you're talking to me at the same time. But on Instagram, we can see each other, and it's a direct thing. So it's cool. All right. That'll be how that works. So that's all I got. Oh, and shout out to the mods. You guys do a great job all the time. I couldn't ask for a better group of mods. Charles Turner, Rapper 10,000, Killer Sushi, Bill from the Hills, all you guys. Appreciate you for what you do. And that's all I got. So, and if you're not subscribed to this channel right here, go ahead and do that. I don't know what you're waiting on. Subscribe to the main channel you're on right now. And also follow this show on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. And a link for that will be in the description box below. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.